tonight, depending on the weather, right here at home. But Dan, Laura had a little bit of the information, some of the early reports that the sheriff was traded away.
He's riding out of town.
Chris Paddock
headed to the Detroit Tigers.
And you knew he was going to be a free agent.
Yep.
And that's sort of what they're unloading, right? These players who are you're going to get no value for because they'll go into the free agent market. So you're trying to get something.
So they're getting back a catcher/first baseman from the Tigers who's 19 years old, has only played in rookie ball. That's the Florida Coast League. That's the Florida Coast League Twins.
Okay.
Playing the same spot that the Mighty Muscles playing the same spot that the Twins do spring training in. He's the number 17 prospect in the Tigers farm system, according to Baseball America, number 12, according to the Athletics ranking system. So not even a top 10 prospect, maybe not even a top 15 prospect in the Tigers system.
Top 20. Come on, Cook.
You're
getting the scratch.
Young kid.
You're getting the scratch. Young kid,
you're
taking a chance.
Yeah, they see maybe some potential there, and we'll see. You're talking about a kid who's,
or maybe they don't care. This is just all they could get.
Well, and the other part of it, of course, is they don't have to pay Chris Paddock the salary the rest of the year.
Right.
There's money savings there too. So this is a kid you won't see in the major leagues for at least 3 years.
All right. Dobnak too, you said?
Yeah, Dobnak, according to Ken Rosenthal, was a throw-in on the deal as well. So bye-bye to Randy.
All right. So there you go. We'll, there'll be more moves perhaps.
The deadline isn't until Thursday. So yeah, there's plenty more time for moves and plenty of other Twins players that are potentially free agents. So,
but that's most of what we expect. We talked to Dan Hayes on the show on Friday, and if you're expecting like a Correa move or a Buxton move or even a Joe Ryan move, you're going to need more than the number 17 prospect
in a team's farm system. Obviously, Correa and Buxton both have no trade clauses, so that's very unlikely you would see anybody like them get dealt. Right. The guys like Joe Ryan and Yohan Duran and Griffin Jacks that are under control for a couple more years, you're probably going to have to get Godfather offers. You're probably going to have to get something serious before you see those guys move.
Yeah.
But anybody who's a free agent, and that includes Willie Castro, by the way, who's a very popular player.
Yep.
Those guys are all waiting to see if they're getting called into the manager's office here. So.
Yep. The Twins sort of made this easy by losing every series since the All-Star break.
Yeah, including, against the worst team in baseball and against the Nationals who were, struggling. So
the worst.
You had a schedule that's set up for you to have some success as a team, to show management, hey, maybe we shouldn't be selling parts off, and the players utterly failed to show up. So
we're planning on doing our show from Target Field tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We'll see what the weather is for tonight's game.
Sure.
But there'll be a lot to talk about for sure.
Dan Hayes from The Athletic will join us tomorrow too, for sure. And we'll definitely be talking a lot about this deal and whatever other deals may be in the works.
Sounds good. All right. And we'll update you throughout the show as things develop. I wanted to start talking about what is your empty nester thing. Maybe it's your retirement thing. A lot of times those topics go hand in hand because I think I've landed on mine after this weekend. So many of us, when you've got the kids around, all you're doing is driving from one thing to the next, right? And it's great. I'm not complaining about it. It's great. Being able to watch your kids do what make them happy is one of the greatest things about being a parent. Watching Sam play soccer, amazing. I've loved it. I've spent a lot of time on the sidelines of soccer fields, and I've loved it. Watching Seth be able to compete in speech and in debate was amazing for me. But all of this stuff sucks up a lot of your time. And this weekend, Alyssa and I were pretty much not home most of the weekend. It started on Thursday when I was up at Grandview Lodge. Saturday, we were at an outdoor concert at Treasure Island Resort and Casino. We went down to see Soul Asylum, which had the dual function of giving us like a little bit of sample of what I want to do when the kids are gone, which is go see more live music. That is something I haven't been able to do much of. and I'm all in. The dual function was it also absolutely took me back to high school, right? Like that, you think Runaway Train, which was a huge hit, and I didn't grow up here, so imagine can only imagine that the Soul Asylum Dave Pirner fandom was like through the roof being here. But for me, it was such a nostalgic moment, and they still rock like unbelievable. And then Sunday, we went to a patio where there was a band playing on the patio. And I'm like, this is, when I was at Grandview, there was live music up there as well. What did you do to scratch that itch, to take up your time? Because I am 2.5 weeks away from a pretty major change in my life. And I know a lot of you guys have gone through it. All of the research says that to succeed in those empty nester years, to succeed in retirement, you need a thing. You can't just stop working. And when the kids leave, you can't just, well, I guess you could. Your thing could be sitting on the couch watching TV all the time. I know a lot of people sort of in that age range end up struggling to reconnect with their partner. We all know those people who, when the kids leave, the marriage falls apart because the whole marriage was predicated on this idea of like, everything's all about the kids. So my question to you is, what is your empty nester thing? Maybe you've gone through it. Maybe you've done it. Maybe you know what it is. Or if you're somebody who still has kids, do you have something that you wish you could do that you're maybe looking forward to? 651-461-9226. Alyssa and I have made a list. So we got a list, Dan, of cities we'd like to visit, and then a separate list of live music venue kind of bucket list.
Okay.
So like the top of the bucket list for me, Red Rocks. To go see a show at Red Rocks in Colorado. Just the now, some of this is like, I love that John Tesh Roundball Rock live performance from the Red.
Okay.
But the view of like the Rocky Mountains, those beautiful red rocks, everything sort of there, to me seems so magical. So that's on my bucket list, is something I want to do when the kids are gone. I think we're all just, it's interesting. I was talking to another couple about this yesterday, and they said that live music was their deal as well, and they've sort of made the list of things they'd like to do. It's sort of overwhelming, though, right? You're like, okay, how do I redefine myself? Am I going to be the gardening guy? Am I going to be the classic car tinkering guy? Like, what are you going to be? Phil is in Woodbury on the CCO Talk and Text line, 651-461-9226. Hey, Phil.
Jay, how you doing, buddy?
I'm awesome. Back to back. You're back. You're back, buddy.
I'm back. Hey, we went to Rib Fest, and I'm back.
Oh, how was Rib Fest? That was down at Mystic Lake, right?
It was. It was a real rib. No, let me tell you, talking about retirement and not doing nothing when you're retired,
Yeah.
So I have a buddy up north. I'm enabling him to be more lazy because I do so much for him. And then when I'm gone and I don't show up at his house, I tell him, I go, you might have to do something for yourself. And he just doesn't get it.
He's got you to do it now. So why, I guess, huh?
You know what I tell people? He's more lazier than a dead man. Come on, guy.
It happens.
I know.
Really good. Thanks, Phil. Appreciate it. Tons of text coming. Let's break. You guys have so many great ideas. It's things that you could look forward to if you're, it's 3:20. Maybe you're picking up a kid right now at some sort of summer camp. Maybe you're driving your kid to some I mean, what? It's already late July. We're doing tryouts probably for spring's club sports and all of that nonsense. Empty nester. What's your empty nester thing? Oh boy. You're going to want to see the last text you're going to want to hear the last text that came in too in just a minute here on Drive Time.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSH on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Let's talk about Minnesota pork. It's Jason here for the Minnesota Pork Board. I had a delicious pork sausage for lunch today before I came in. 3,000 family farmers every corner of the state. You know I love telling the story of Minnesota pork. And what I want you to do is to think creatively about the different ways that you can make pork a part of your life. Bacon is a no-brainer, but bacon's only the beginning. When it comes to recipe ideas and different cuts of pork, mnpork.com is a great way to get started. You know I like going to the Pork 101 section and seeing all of the recipes they have available for you. Now, tonight it might be a little windy. You might not. Well, I don't know. Maybe it'll be a little later. Almost any night is a good night to kind of fire up the grill. Southwestern grilled pork tenderloin. Doesn't that sound good? Maple brine pork chops with grilled peaches. All of those recipes available for you at mnpork.com. So much flavor, so much protein, and so much support for our Minnesota family farmers, such a big part of our economy. Go to your butcher shop, go to your grocery store, and let's have Minnesota pork for dinner tonight.
Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's. Right now, get a 4-piece GE kitchen suite for under $2,000. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt Max XR 8-amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt tool. Save big with deals that work as hard as you do. Shop Pro Savings Days in-store or online today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 8/1. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Big year. I'm starting middle school.
Welcome to the jungle, Missy.
Best part? My parents promised me a new laptop.
Perfect for homework, essays, and drudgery.
So we went to Staples. They had all the latest tech, and laptops were up to 40% off.
Woo! Another back-to-school budget saved by Staples Easy Button.
Mom high-fived the cashier. So embarrassing.
Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. In 23 select models only.
You know those unsolicited cash offers you get for your home in the mail? Every homeowner's gotten one before. It's Vanita. They make selling your home a breeze, but the people who take those offers usually end up selling their homes for tens of thousands of dollars less than they could have. Don't do that. Contact my friend, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. He has your back. Tim and Lisa, we're in a situation where they took a cash offer, but the buyer wanted them to take a deal for $30,000 less than agreed to. They were fed up. They contacted the Schuster Group. John sold Tim and Lisa's home for $75,000 more than the cash offer company was willing to give. Don't leave money on the table. Contact the Schuster Group at 952-222-9000 online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want to boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
Jason DeRUSH.
I can ignore your kid crying on a plane the same way I ignored my kids crying. It is not that difficult. And if my kids are listening, they're like, yeah.
Oh, come on. Your kids don't listen.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
So many good texts about your empty nester thing. Lots of people enjoying the live stream on Facebook, WCCO Radio, and on YouTube at the WCCO Radio channel, where you should certainly be giving us a subscribe. UGEL is looking forward to the number of people in the house not outnumbering the number of bathrooms he has. Yeah, that makes sense. Judy goes to Hawaii for a month during winter months. Cook, where do you want me to go? I am going to give you a little break from me in the winter. I can guarantee you that right now.
Let me tell you where I want you to go to Russia. You can't put it on a tee like that for me. It's too easy.
That's, I just
come on.
Trying to serve up more of these little
liner
things. Yeah. The text that stopped me in my tracks from the 763, when we became empty nesters, we had naked night on Tuesdays.
I mean, there's so many questions. Like, why Tuesday? What is it about Tuesday?
Well, you got to make it special. If you have naked night every night, it just isn't as...
No, I get that it's not every night, but...
Why Tuesday?
Why Tuesday? I don't
know.
It seems more like a Friday or Saturday activity to me, but maybe that's the point, is to not do it in the traditional spot.
Now, another texter says, I think you build your friendships. I need a cabin close to the Lonesome Pine up on Bay Lake. This might be my friend Josh texting. Man, I tell you, when I was up north again this weekend, you're like, I've never been the cabin guy, mostly because I don't want another place to take care of necessarily, says the guy who has, but I don't have to mow any lawn. I don't have to, know what I mean? Like, I don't have to do any of that. Yeah. But having like a little shack on Bay Lake would be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Volunteering was something that holds interest. Helping others creates feel-good hormones, says a texter. I think that makes a lot of sense, especially like something that I could do with my wife. Like, that would be pretty cool. Turned 60 this year, saw James Taylor in June at the Red Rocks. Bucket list item. It was awesome. So Red Rocks, I didn't realize it was as intimate as it is. I think it only holds about 9,000 people. So like if you're watching on YouTube, I think people kind of get the bit of what Red Rocks is, right, Dan? Like, I'm not talking about something that people are like,
no, I would think most people have seen or are aware of Red Rocks. Google says it's about 9,500.
Yeah. That's smaller than I get, and I guess I don't know why I thought it was so large, but like you sort of have this idea that Red Rocks, maybe because
it's just such
reputation,
a name. Yeah, that's just
but just stunning. Another texter has been enjoying exercising and seeing the state. We've done day hikes, finishing hiking the entire Superior Hiking Trail. We also bike different trails around Minnesota and run different races around the state.
That's something I could see you do, getting like a park pass and just hitting all the state parks, because there's
I would love to do that.
Beautiful areas to hike and bike in the state parks, and it's stupid cheap to get a year.
Oh
pass.
My gosh,
and
yeah, and
ridiculous.
You can get the license plate, right? And it's like $30 or something, and now you're in. Jason, the big thing is to go out and plan vacations with your kids and make them have a great time. If they enjoy being around you, of course, there's a bigger likelihood they're going to want to stay and live here in Minnesota and not move off, like a lot of our friends' kids have. That will be an interesting question for us, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if the kids, with one kid going to college in New York and another in LA, the number one question other parents ask me is like, aren't you worried that they're going to move away? And right now, my answer is I'm not worried that they're going to move away. I want them to go where they want to go and do what they want to do, and we'll come visit them. And when they start, if they start having kids, I bet that changes that, where you want to be a little closer to them.
But you also have the freedom to move around yourself too, right? I mean, once you're retired anyway.
When I'm retired, yeah. I mean, if I start doing this show remotely a little more often, like, am I going to have to change my bet on people coming back to work in person, or can I still be consistent yet hypocritical?
I think you've established your flexibility and fluidity when it comes to opinions to the point where you're just fine.
Texter says, worked out more, lost 40 pounds. Garden is immaculate. 2 of 4 kids boomeranged back to pay off their loans. Yeah, this is why we're not selling our house, because the idea of being an empty, I think they have another term for parents of college kids, because you're not quite an empty nester because the kids come back for summer or for breaks or whatever. But so often people boomerang back. Another texter riding the Harley all over the country. Whoa. That's pretty cool. I feel like as I get older, I do not need more potentially dangerous hobbies.
Seems reasonable.
I've talked before about how, like, I definitely have the emotional attachment to, like, the Harley lifestyle. Just the wind blowing your hair, the, like,
you certainly understand
total
it.
freedom.
On an intellectual basis, you understand it. You also understand the risks inherent with it.
Yeah. I think I've seen too many bad stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty fun. Something to look forward to. The live music this weekend definitely got me thinking about it, and I'm glad that you guys came through with so many good ideas too. In just a minute, a bit of a bombshell investigative report in the Minnesota Star Tribune this weekend, breaking down the way that things, well, depending on your perspective, went wrong on the morning that we had a politically motivated assassin on the loose in the suburbs of the Twin Cities, going to the homes of legislators. A gap in the time that law enforcement shot at Vance Belter and the time they went into Melissa Hortman's house. We'll talk with one of the Star Tribune reporters who broke that story this weekend in just a minute here on Drive Time.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRUSH. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO. Call in.
Hello. Thanks for having me on.
Make your point.
You're talking at two sides of your mouth.
Be heard.
I didn't like it at all.
Thank you for talking about this issue.
You got a take?
That is the greatest American thing we can do for one another.
Don't just listen. Come on, jump in.
You can't always be fair. The people we have in charge, they can't make a decision. This isn't something funny, and it should not be posted on social media.
Your voice matters here. News Talk 830 WCCO.
Grown-ups, aren't Sundays more fun without... Can I have screen time? Can I have a snack? I don't want to go to Grandma's. It smells funny. And I'm bored. Bored is impossible on Kids Day at Target Field. The gate 34 lawn is turned into Bullseye's backyard. Kids' meals are half off. Kids 12 and under can run the bases after the game. And Grandma's invited too. Enjoy your weekend wind-up with Sunday Kids Days, presented by Target. Join in at twins.com/tickets.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius or two have geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply. Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Watching the slowdowns at Java 494, traveling northbound, coming up from Highway 212 toward Highway 7, 94 westbound, jamming up past 280 as you make way toward Minneapolis. 394 eastbound, got some slow stuff in place there. Eastbound run coming in from Ford Parkway, westbound jamming as you make way right out of downtown Minneapolis over to Penn Avenue. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jason DeRUSH here. The Canopy Group represents 16 different insurance companies, not just one. They give you options. Each year, they'll review your program so you don't have to, making sure you get the best coverage at the best price. Do like I did. Go to thecanopygroup.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
The Canopy Group bringing us the weather forecast. We are on sort of alert tonight for the potential of severe weather. Here's Chris Schaefer.
The big focus is on tonight's rain and thunderstorms. I do expect severe storms. I do expect heavy rain. We'll keep you posted on that later on tonight. By tomorrow, we're mostly cloudy with a few isolated showers possible. 83 the high, still a bit humid. Now that humidity goes away Wednesday. Our highs will be in the upper 70s, and we'll keep those conditions for the next several days.
Pretty humid right now in St. Paul. It's 86 and sunny on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRUSH, video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
There is no question that on the morning when an assassin was on the loose in Minnesota targeting Democratic elected officials, that law enforcement did some incredible thing. Something like this has never happened in our state before. Having the wisdom to say, like, after the 911 call came from the Hoffman house and said that guy dressed up like a cop going after law enforcement. Local law enforcement agencies had the wisdom to say, like, oh, we should check on this person. We should check on that person. But there were mistakes, too. And many laid out in a very impressive investigative report in the Minnesota Star Tribune over the weekend. Jeff Day and Ryan Faircloth teamed up on this. And Ryan joins us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. Ryan, great work. And for me, the biggest headline was the fact that Brooklyn Park Police, in between the time that they saw a man shoot and kill Mark Hortman, and the time they went into the house, it took more than an hour before they went in to check and see if someone was in there or if Melissa Hortman was okay.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we knew already that officers arrived on the scene, right around, it was 3:35 a.m. that morning, just moments short. I mean, they watched the gunman, now identified as Vance Belter, shoot Mark Hortman in the doorway of the home, and then he runs inside, and muzzle flashes are seen after that. So they pulled Mark Hortman from the doorway, and then they did not follow Belter in. They waited. It took them about an hour to enter the home. I said they arrived on the scene at 3:35 a.m. They finally entered the home at 4:38 a.m. And what they were waiting for is they decided, instead of chasing Belter in, to deploy a drone to see if the gunman was still inside and see if Melissa Hortman was alive. And they ended up going in at 4:38 and removing Melissa's body at 4:42, and she was announced dead at the scene.
Now, we don't know if Melissa Hortman was instantly killed or if there perhaps was a chance to have life-saving kind of medical attention to her, right?
Right. We do not know that.
Yeah. And so, I think the difficulty, and I empathize a little bit with you as a reporter, when you put out the facts, you have people grabbing this and trying to make whatever case they want. And we don't know that if the police had gone in there, if they would have had a chance to save Melissa Hortman's life. We also don't know, right? I mean, we don't know it either way.
Yeah, it's an open question of whether it would have helped or not.
What do police say as for why they waited so long? Is that police policy in their view? Because as an outsider, it feels like you got an active shooter. Aren't we chasing those guys?
Yeah. So, I mean, the immediate kind of explanation from the Brooklyn Park police chief is that his officers thought that they shot Belter and that he was pulled up inside, because when they watched Mark Hortman get shot in the doorway, they fired at Belter. So they thought that they had potentially shot him and he was huddled somewhere in the home. The police chief, Mark Bruley, has also said his officers were following de-escalation tactics in the pursuit of Belter. But law enforcement sources we talked to said that this is not a de-escalation situation. It's an active shooter situation. And we looked at Brooklyn Park's policy, and their de-escalation language says it can only be used when delay will not, quote, compromise the safety of someone else. And their use of force policy says officers can use deadly force to prevent death or great bodily harm.
Well,
it's worth noting.
Yeah, nobody's going to be upset if literally no one is going to be upset at police chasing a guy who just shot a man in the door. I mean, some of this is like your policy is whatever your policy is, but no one's protesting Brooklyn Park police if they're chasing a guy who just shot someone in the doorway. Give me a break.
Right. And it's worth noting Brooklyn Park police, they released a statement Saturday after our story had published, saying their officers did not violate department policy and that they followed training and policy by not entering the home. I've asked Brooklyn Park police to point me to that policy, and I have not gotten a response yet. They're basically, in that news release they put out Saturday, the main thing they're disputing is whether or not they violated their department policy or not. They're saying that they followed policy by not entering the home for an hour.
Yeah, as we talk with Ryan Faircloth from the Minnesota Star Tribune, I think part of this to me is like, okay, we can go back and forth on policy, and it's still early, but just saying like, hey, in retrospect, we should have chased. And the other thing in retrospect that you talk about is New Hope. And I think that was questioned even in the early hours of that morning, because a New Hope police officer did encounter Vance Belter before the Hortmans were killed. Tell us what you learned about that interaction.
Sure. Yeah, well, let me start with news, just in case your listeners aren't up to speed on everything. So the New Hope officer went to go check on a local senator after his wife had been shot, but about an hour before Melissa Hortman and her husband were killed. And when she was approaching the home, she encountered a police vehicle and a man inside it who has since been determined to be the actual gunman. And she tried to talk to the officer and have him roll down his window, and he stared straight ahead and didn't respond to her. So the New Hope officer left to go check on the senator she was there to check on, and when she returned, the gunman was gone. The new information we learned basically is that this officer's interaction with Belter wasn't reported to law enforcement agencies, other law enforcement agencies in real time. Like, what's unclear is that the officer didn't report the interaction, or if the scanner traffic that night or that early morning was so heavy at the time that just a transmission didn't make it through. But New Hope has refused to answer questions about the officer's interaction with Belter.
Look, it's easy to second guess in the chaos, but it's also important to second guess and say like, all right, the other thing that I think your piece brings out, and is also something we were discussing that Saturday morning, is the fact that because we have local police departments and then county police or county sheriff's agencies, the sharing of information here was not as crisp and clear as I think a lot of us would like to see. You reported a little bit about that, as far as, there is no database of elected officials for local agencies to go through. Talk a little bit about some of the gaps in communication that you saw.
Yeah, and I note on the front end that, it's worth just kind of a disclaimer that state legislators, we've got 201 of them, they're part-time, they're basically citizens, right? So there's not exactly a system in place to like send out word to all of them immediately. That might be something that we see here in the future after this, but there wasn't that night. So when Hope Hoffman said in the 911 call after her parents were shot that the suspect was disguised as a cop and wearing a mask, it still took like at least a few hours for most legislators to learn that not only that there was a threat, but that be careful if a guy dressed as a cop comes to your door. So that was a problem and a complaint of legislators, that they didn't know what to look for. They knew there was a threat, but that they didn't know what to look for. It also took a while for legislators who were on the list of targets that police recovered from Belcher's vehicle to learn that they were on the list. The Department of Public Safety got that list around, I think they said no later than 6:30 a.m. And they worked with federal authorities to share it with local police departments. But then, as for when police departments actually communicated that information, the list to legislators, it took a while. And it took DPS actually about 5.5 hours from the time it first received this list to send it to the legislative caucuses, who would have direct lines to the lawmakers as well. So, from start to finish, when the Hoffmans were shot around 2 a.m. to DPS sending the list to the legislative caucuses around noon, we're looking at like 10 hours of spotty communication.
Ryan Faircloth with the Minnesota Star Tribune with us. And already I just want to preempt like some of the texting that is coming our way as we discuss this. By raising these questions, you're also not discounting the fact that there were some very smart police officers along the way who on their own said, hey, we better go check on, the New Hope officer that even went to go check on an elected official, and the Brooklyn Park officer who said, hey, we should go run by Melissa Hortman's house. You're not discounting some of the really smart, today it's obvious, but in those moments in the early morning hours on a Saturday morning, it was really smart, some of this action that was going on.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think there was a lot of great, a source that I spoke to recently put it well, where they said, the night had a lot of great police work, and it also had some sloppy police work. And of course it's easy to like go back and look at it all and second guess, but no, not in any way are we discounting it. But I think, bringing these things up and the missteps and the shortcomings are important, because if you don't highlight them, then who's to say that they'll ever be confronted or acknowledged, right? So I think that's basically what we were trying to do, is just like, here's where there were some gaps, and let's put these on the record so that people can try and close those gaps going forward. And I think the state is trying to, and Brooklyn Park even are trying to do that to some degree, talking about an after action report. The legislative auditor's office, the nonpartisan watchdog investigator of state government in Minnesota, they're going to look at how communication was spread in the early morning to see if policies and procedures were followed. There's also talk of potentially looking at coming up with an emergency alert system for legislators too, if this were to somehow happen again, that could ping their phones, maybe like an Amber Alert or something like that. So, I think going back and looking at where things went wrong is important to make sure that it doesn't happen in the future.
Yeah, and so a lot of this does seem potentially fixable or at least improvable. Hopefully this never happens again, but there could be some similar scenario, right? It doesn't have to be this exact scenario where you could take some of these lessons and improve your processes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that there's information to take going forward that could improve public safety in this sort of situation.
Really good reporting, good information, and I appreciate you taking some time to be with us. Ryan Faircloth from the Minnesota Star Tribune.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. Appreciate it.
Very
good. You're listening to Drive Time with DeRUSH on News Talk 830 WCCO.
It is Jason here with your opportunity to absolutely change your life. Livia changed my life, and Livia wants to do it for you. 45 pounds. That's what I lost with the help of Livia Weight Control Centers. They've got everything you could need. Personalized treatment plans, you bet. They've got GLP-1. So many of you have had incredible success with Livia with those GLP-1 weight loss medications. Right now, there's a summer special. You buy 2 months of same-day medical weight loss injections. You get the 3rd month free. I want you to experience what a 5-time Minnesota's Best Gold winner is like. Livia has been doing it for 15 years, helping tens of thousands of people achieve the vision of themselves they always wanted. For me, I never thought I could do it, to be honest. I knew I needed help. I could not do it myself. I tried, I'll cut out French fries and I won't drink during the week. Nothing changed until I went to see the team in Coon Rapids at Livia. They can help you out near you. There's a Livia Weight Loss Center close to your home. You can find it at livia.com. How about you take advantage of their summer nutrition special where you get 50% off their program? Find out the details at livia.com, livea.com, or 855-GO-LIVIA today.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
When you're in pain, you need the Good Feet store. Do not waste another minute suffering from foot pain, sore ankles, tired legs, aching back and hips, or sore knees. Call for the Good Feet store for your no-obligation custom fitting. You will immediately feel the difference.
I walked right into the Good Feet store and I tried the Good Feet Arch Support System, and my hip pain is gone, went away.
The Good Feet Arch Support System are designed to put your foot in the most ideal position, redistributing the body weight more evenly, helping to relieve pain and stress in the body.
That nagging pain in my lower back, gone instantly thanks to the Good Feet supports.
Good Feet store has over 350 styles and sizes to relieve your pain. Call for your personal fitting.
And I have never had a problem since. I can walk in heels again, and it's great.
Call 855-554-3338. Step into pain relief.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
At Wealth Enhancement, we believe wealth is in the details. Our team of trusted advisors craft personalized solutions to help you achieve your financial goals. Tune in to the Your Money Show on News Talk 830 WCCO every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. or go to wealthenhancement.com to connect with one of our advisors.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
North 169, Cedar Lake Road, accident working off to the right side. It is slow as you come up from Excelsior. Southbound seeing Gawker slowdowns from Medicine Lake Road. South 494 near Highway 62. Truck fire has been extinguished. Now the cleanup begins. All the activity is off to the right shoulder. West 694 plugged up as Mayo between 35W and Highway 100. 394 watching slowdowns pretty much both directions between 94 and Highway 100. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
If you have trees to trim or need tree removal, call an ISA certified arborist. Call the CCO Land Company I use. B&M Tree Service, 1-800-569-9034. Or get on the web, bnmtree.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Weather brought to you by B&M Tree Service. Tonight, heavy rain, strong winds before midnight, low of 70. Tomorrow, 83. Isolated showers possible as well. Wednesday looks good. High of 79. Hey, finally a nice day. Wednesday looks good. Right now, it is 89 and sunny in Minneapolis.
Broadcasting from the Flatibo Land Studios, this is News Talk 830 WCCO. If you're looking to buy or sell farmland, you need Flatibo Land. For the latest auctions, listings, appraisals, and consulting, visit flatiboland.com.
So last night, I was sitting at a patio when the band started packing up. Dan, this is how you know it's time to head for the hills. You know what I mean?
Maybe you've stayed too late.
I hope the band got paid for the whole gig, you know, because they certainly did not perform the whole time.
Oh, they were skedaddling because of the weather?
That's right.
All right.
The storm.
I thought you were just out till an obnoxious time and they were
No.
trying to kick you out.
So I actually have a little sound of this if you want to hear it. It is, so here's the band. It's kind of doing the North Loop, and then all of a sudden you look up and the skies are gray and black, and you have that decision point. Do I stay or do I go? And that is the sound of hail slamming into the 11th floor on our apartment across the street. Are you a storm watcher? I was thinking about this today. Like, I am a storm watcher.
Yeah, I am too.
Oh, I love it. And I feel like I have to record it always.
That part I don't do.
Yeah, well, you know, I record most of my life.
That's true. I have an apartment that faces west, so usually that's the direction storms are coming from, and I'm up high enough that I can see it coming in. And yeah, we'll absolutely watch it track its way towards me.
I'm for sure a storm watcher. The Star Tribune had this picture, and I saw social media, and Jonathan notes on YouTube that at the X they had to pause the Nate Bargatze's show, the comedy show.
Yeah, he hadn't taken the stage yet, but
it was right in between the last opener and him.
Yep. And the building lost power. They were on their backup power system, so that's what.
And I saw some people have water like dripping on their seats.
Oh, that's not good.
Which I'm like, save that video
for sure
for the next time the state is debating whether or not to spend money on fixing up the X or the Grand Casino Arena, whatever it's going to be called in a couple of months. I do love watching a storm.
Yeah, absolutely. From a safe spot.
Now, today I was driving through Robbinsdale, and I did see a lot of trees down. So in Maple Grove, we didn't have any damage. Did you see anything in your?
No, nothing that like the last round of storms we had a couple of trees go down nearby me, but not this one. We'll see what happens tonight.
Yeah, I was told on social media that they were concerned that they might have a DeRUSH tonight. Have you heard the weather people talking about this?
The Derico? Yeah.
No, I think it's a DeRUSH.
We should brand it that way for sure.
It's like a really kind of like a strong gust of hot air, extreme instability, occasional heavy outbursts. It sounds about right.
That absolutely tracks. Yes.
I think Brutus's dad on X is mixed up with 1990s hip hop star Jason DeRUSH. So
yeah, that happens.
He always sings his name before the song. Hopefully, social media gets people whipped up about these storms.
A little bit.
We're going to get 100-mile-an-hour winds tonight. Like, well, maybe. I don't know.
There's a lot of weather nerds out there that love a good storm and get all excited for it.
Those of us normies who gets kind of end up in that timeline, you're like, what is happening? Are we really? And then you don't know if you should believe it or not. If it's not from Schaefer, I don't believe it.
Thielen Meats of Pierce is where tradition meets taste.
Family grown, employee owned. We've mastered the art of meat.
That's why we're the #1 meat market in Minnesota.
And we're located right here in Pierce.
Check out our mouthwatering selection at thielenmeats.com.
Better yet, stop in and see for yourself. We're serving up love one cut at a time.
Thielen Meats, from our family to your feast.
No meal's complete without Thielen Meats
of Pierce.
For 50 years, Newgate School has been serving the Twin Cities community by providing automotive training for young adults, job placement, and support for single mothers with reliable cars. That calls for a celebration. Join us August 2nd for an epic car show, food trucks, live music, awards, and activities for the whole family. Celebrate 50 years of Newgate and a world of difference. Visit newgateschool.org for details.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Serving the Twin Cities in Western Wisconsin, I'm Mike Coynan, host of Retirement Reality. Retirement planning can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Let's tackle your retirement questions together this Sunday at 6:30 a.m. on News Talk 830 WCCO.
We are Minnesota. We are News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. It is dangerously hot in much of the country again.
Honestly, I feel like as a child, the heat is not the same as it is now. It feels like it's on a completely different level.
That woman in New Orleans, records are being set in places like Florida, a lot of it having to do with the extreme humidity. CBS's Jim Krasula reports.
Nearly 190 million Americans, more than half of the nation's population, are under heat alerts today. Scott Martyr is with the American Red Cross in Baltimore.
Extreme heat kills more people in the United States than any other natural disaster. Obviously, staying in air conditioning helps. But if you don't have air conditioning, go to a shopping mall or a library or a cooling center.
Tampa, Florida hit 100 degrees Sunday for the first time since they started keeping weather records there more than 130 years ago. Jim Krasula, CBS News.
Dozens of people were killed in Gaza today, and aid delivery was chaotic, even as Israel paused its military operations for several hours to allow more aid in. Kate Phillips-Barrasso is with Mercy Corps.
Catastrophic is the right word, with zero exaggeration to describe the situation. I think this is probably one of the most extreme situations that I've worked on in 20 years of humanitarian assistance.
The UN says some aid trucks are being unloaded by crowds before they reach their destinations. President Trump in Scotland called for more Gaza aid. He also shortened the deadline for Vladimir Putin to end the war in Ukraine.
I'm going to make a new deadline of about 10 or 12 days from today. There's no reason in waiting.
Trump's trade deal with the European Union raises tariffs on most European goods to 15%. Analyst Javier David says we're likely to feel that in the wallet.
For consumers, you're going to see higher prices, but relatively stable ones on things like wine, cheese, some retail, bed sheets, and IKEA.
How much time are you spending online? CBS News correspondent Matt Piper on the latest research.
A new poll from the telecommunications company Optimum finds Americans spend nearly half their day online. On average, people are spending 10 hours daily accessing the World Wide Web, about 5 hours browsing, working, doing emails, or scrolling social media, and the other half streaming videos or TV shows. A poll of 2,000 people found that for general internet usage, most use their cell phones. Matt Piper, CBS News.
On Wall Street, stocks finished mixed. Investors not overly thrilled with the trade deal with the EU. The Dow was off 64. The S&P was little changed. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit progressive.com.
Minnesota's trusted voice. Every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Partly cloudy, 86 degrees at 4:03. I'm Laura Oakes. The possibility of high winds and heavy storms once again heading our way again tonight, with the National Weather Service putting the Twin Cities at an enhanced risk for severe weather. WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer will have the very latest on how things are shaping up at 4:08. 30 years in prison for the man convicted of driving drunk and crashing his car into the Park Tavern's patio, killing 2 people. 57-year-old Stephen Bailey had a blood alcohol level nearly 4 times the legal limit for driving when the crash happened last September. Bailey also must pay restitution to the victims. Christina Folkerts and Gabe Harvey died in that crash. Folkerts worked at the St. Louis Park Bar. Harvey was a healthcare specialist. Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty calling it yet another completely avoidable tragedy. Governor Tim Walz says caucus leaders will meet this week to discuss security at the Minnesota State Capitol following 3 security breaches over the weekend by the same man. The 36-year-old from Wisconsin was found naked in the Senate chambers and was released after a mental health evaluation. He returned a second and third time to the Capitol grounds before he was eventually arrested. Wall says that individual accessed the Capitol through a door that didn't trigger an alarm and that there were no cameras.
Those are all the things that need to be answered. Access points, cameras and who's monitoring it, who's doing and walking through the building. How do we funnel folks through? I mean, does it come to the point where everybody comes through the front door? And at least you know that of who's in the building.
A new analysis from the Minnesota Department of Human Services shows as many as 140,000 residents will lose their health coverage due to federal Medicaid cuts. State Medicaid Director John Connolly says the impacts on medical assistance, which is Minnesota's Medicaid program, will be significant and felt by everyone, no matter how they get their health insurance.
The loss in coverage within Medicaid will contribute to more uncompensated care for providers and raise costs more broadly in the system for people who are privately insured, because providers will feel that stress and not have a source of payment for people who lose Medicaid coverage.
The federal cuts are expected to take effect by 2027 and include a work requirement of at least 80 hours per month and will require recipients to reapply for coverage every 6 months. Minnesota's humanitarian advocates and faith leaders are calling for more U.S. aid in the starvation crisis in Gaza, where Council on American Islamic Relations Executive Director Jaylani Hussein says food is being weaponized.
The death tolls are going to increase, and anytime there is starvation, the most vulnerable people are the impacted. These are usually toddlers, infants, women, and others who are injured, who oftentimes cannot be nutrition deficient. And that's what we're seeing from the ground.
And multiple reports today indicating the Minnesota Twins are making some roster moves.
Chris Paddock and Randy Dobnak will stay in the American League Central, with the pitchers headed to the Detroit Tigers. The Twins, meanwhile, will receive Enrique Jimenez, a catcher and first baseman who is among the Tigers' top 20 prospects. This all comes as the MLB trade deadline is Thursday.
That's WCCO's Mark Fry, and WCCO News Time is 4:06.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought to you by Laguna, Minnesota. Visit buildthenorth.com. You can find your slowdowns place traveling 694 both directions between 35W and 252. 10 westbound jamming up as move past Egret, heading up to Hanson Boulevard. South 494, truck fires cleared out completely now. The area of Highway 62. Traffic's moving fairly decent there. We do have a crash working yet North 169, Cedar Lake Road. The activity yet off to the right side. Your slowdowns at Highway 7. Laguna, Minnesota remind you to slow down in construction zones. The members of Laguna and their union contractors are building better infrastructure for you. So please slow down and pay attention to the road signs when you see orange and yellow. Brought to you by Laguna, Minnesota. Visit buildthenorth.com. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
And here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The big concern is the storm potential later on tonight. We expect heavy rain and strong to damaging winds. We'll keep you posted on that as it's happening. 70 the overnight low tonight. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a few isolated showers. Still a bit muggy with a high around 83. Total relief arrives on Wednesday. A high in the upper 70s, not humid. Those conditions stick around right through the weekend.
Partly cloudy right now, 86 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Because, well, someone's got to make sense of this mess. News Talk 830 WCCO. Good questions. Topics you'll probably talk about at dinner. Places to go for dinner. This is the Ride Home Reimagined. Welcome to Drive Time with DeRUSH. Now, here's Jason DeRUSH.
All right, it is Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Did you have a good weekend, Dan Cook?
I had a pretty good weekend, yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, my weekend was great, too.
I would say mildly above average.
It's fine.
Yeah, I'll take that most weeks.
No storm damage for me. That's a win.
Yeah, that's definitely a win.
Story in the Star Tribune that has me thinking about young people and driver's licenses. Do people not care about getting a driver's license anymore? Because, and especially teenagers, because my teenagers, as soon as they turned 16, they were having their driver's test. They could not wait to get a driver's license. And I get the sense that today, kids don't care as much. And I don't get it. What's your experience with this? 651-461-9226 if you want to weigh in. Because to me, when I was a kid, getting a driver's license was such a big deal. It was the passport to freedom. You could go where you wanted to go. You didn't need to ask permission for everything. You didn't need to burden your parents with like picking you up at 11 o'clock or driving you to some practice or whatever.
It was absolutely that freedom element. And it was also like one of those mile markers on the road of life, right? That this was just a thing that you did. And it was assumed amongst my friend group anyway, that you tried to get that appointment to get that driving test on your 18th birthday or your 16th birthday, because you want to have that license in hand as soon as humanly possible. And it does not seem like young people treat it that way anymore.
It doesn't seem that way. And part of what made me think about this was the number of people who missed appointments for exams. Almost 50,000 missed appointments, according to the state. 50,000 missed appointments. What? Like, there is no way I would have missed an appointment. No way. And what they've changed is they're charging twice as high of a no-show fee. So if you blow off your appointment to take a road test, you have to pay $40. It used to be 20. I think it should be 1,000. Like, what are we doing? It is so difficult for parents to get an appointment right now. It's so difficult to get kids in. To think that 50,000 appointments are going with people just not showing up, I don't understand it, and it makes me wonder if the kids just don't prioritize it, if it's not that important. Rick is in his car. Rick is called in on the CCO Talk and Text line. Rick, do you think young people maybe just don't care as much?
Well, I think a lot of them have other expenses. It's expensive to get your driver's license and get a car. I know I couldn't wait to get my license, but I didn't get mine when I was 16. My dad had three of us in a row at Cretan, and I waited till I was the oldest one too, so it was a little tougher on me.
Yeah.
I waited till I was a little over 17. I had to get my own car and my own insurance because, like I said, there was three in a row, and my dad was the only one that worked. So I understand it. But no, I agree with you. I think a lot of kids, they don't care right now. It's not a priority for them. And they have, I don't know what their other priorities are, but
my dad did the same thing to me, Rick, that your dad did to you. I was the oldest of four, and I was ready to take my driver's license test on my birthday, but he wanted me to wait until he renewed his insurance, because then I could be added without like an adjustment in the cost. So like I had to wait until July because Dad was trying to save a couple of bucks. And then when I did like get added to the insurance, I did have to pay for it. But you're right. It was a lot cheaper. Back in our day when we were added to the insurance, it sure was a lot cheaper than it is now.
Yeah, my first car was a real beater, and it was only $175, but it ran for about a year.
It did the job. Good stuff. Thanks, Rick. I appreciate it. Texter says people book multiple appointments in case they don't pass, and then they don't cancel the extra appointments. I do wonder if people treat it a little bit like the way they treat restaurant reservations, where like you just want to have a bunch of options and then people are so inconsiderate that they don't go into the system and cancel it. But these are other, the state had said that part of what they think is going on is the fact that you have to book. Well, so here's the thing. Before 2022, you could book a test 6 months out. And if you're booking 6 months out, I could see how life comes up and things change. Right now, if you're booking for a driver's test appointment, you only get to see a 30-day window. So if you book within 30 days and you forget, you're an idiot. Like, no driver's license for you. It's just outrageous. Jeff's in Sauk Rapids. Jeff, what do you think's going on?
Well, I can't keep track of it, but are these Gen X, Gen Y, Z? What are they?
We're on Z at this point. Yeah.
At this point, there's just something wrong with those people. They're defective.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. There's just something wrong with them.
But maybe it's the parents. Maybe it's the millennial parents that are the problem.
Well, it could very well be, which is why the kids are defective. It probably started with the millennial parents.
Which is more fun for a boomer, to blame millennials or to blame Gen Zers?
Oh, gosh, all of the above.
Yeah, it's all very satisfying.
You can have so much fun with the different iterations.
Very good. Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, I mean, it's all a win. Texter says, I'm 25. And it was everything when I was 16. If you were 17 with no license, it was almost weird. Yeah, and I wonder if it depends, like where are you, a city kid or a country kid, if that's different? I don't know. I just notice young people don't seem to care as much. And if you have somebody in the friend group that drives, well, I got, so-and-so will pick me up. If you're a girl and you got a boyfriend who he drives, you're like, what do I need a license for? Texter, I'm definitely the era that got their license on their birthday, turning 16. My kids were COVID kids, and they just didn't seem very concerned about the fact that they didn't have their license. Socializing has changed so much that the kids got used to not going all the time, going.
I was just going to ask,
really interesting,
how much of a role the pandemic played in all this. When you saw all of the, bat bleep crazy drivers on the road during the pandemic, that would intimidate anybody who's not used to driving a car, and some who are used to driving a car.
Yeah.
And due to the change, you couldn't go hang out with your friends, right? So you developed other ways, mostly online, of interacting socially.
Yeah.
And then just,
I bet that is
become such a big deal.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. Another texter says that some of this is maybe because kids get driven everywhere by their parents. Oh, man, I had not considered that. But when you mention it, that is so true. When I was a kid, oldest of 4, mom could only drive. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom, but she could only drive so many kids to so many places. So like I'd have to bike to baseball practice if my brother got a ride. Like it just was sort of, you were on your own. And when I had a summer job, like the real reason I wanted to get a license is I had a summer job that was maybe 3 or 4 miles from my house, and I rode my bike there. But like my summer job was at a swimming pool. So when you had a storm that closed the pool early, well, I would just get a ride from somebody else and leave my bike at the pool. But it was a bit of a production. So when I got the chance to get my driver's license, I was like, let's go. Jackson, Minnetonka. Jack, thanks for calling. What do you think's going on? Are young people less interested in getting their license?
Well, when I was a kid, in order to see your friends, you had to get in your car and drive to see them.
Yeah.
But now they're on social media. They can do FaceTime on their phone, and they can, from their bedroom, they can visit with their friends, kind of in person, and they don't need to get up and go anywhere.
Yeah, and maybe they're not working as much. Another texter says these kids aren't working at a job, so maybe they don't need to drive as much. Interesting.
I don't know. Do you need a license for the electric scooters that they have downtown or not?
Some of these people clearly have never taken a driving class of their life based on the way they're flying around on those things. No, I don't.
I grew up on a farm. I had a license when I was 14.
Yeah. It's so interesting. It's so interesting to me. Thanks, Jack. Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. It might be the electronics thing. It might be another texter said maybe it's the environment, like that her daughters and her friends don't want to drive because of the environment. I would just say if you're that worried about the environment, like, come on. Like, you're what? I mean, yes, like driving has an impact on the environment. If you're 16, I guess maybe if you're 16, you're more worried about the environment than if you're 50. Or maybe you got a little too much brain rot for having too much nonsense shoved down your throat on TikTok. I don't know. 419, let's break. Dan's got a Monday message in just a minute.
Drive Time with DeRUSH on News Talk 830 WCCO.
I have a message for you right now, and it's about your skincare. It's Jason from my friends at Terrene Dermatology. Let me tell you, this weekend, I was Terrene Dermatology's #1 sunscreen user. No doubt about it. Terrene Dermatology, they sell some of my favorite sunscreens because look, you got to wear sunscreen every day. You should reapply it. But I don't know, as a guy, like I'm not wearing makeup. I'm not doing that stuff. I don't like the slimy feeling stuff. They can help you out with that at Terrene Dermatology. They have an online store too at terrenedermatology.com where you can find all sorts of great sunscreens. The bottom line is use it, right? We are in the heart of summer, and Terrene does not want to find skin cancer on you when you come in for your full body skin checkup. All skin types, all skin conditions, the best people. Terrene Dermatology takes care of me and my family and my extended family and so many of our WCCO radio family. Check them out. 9 locations all over town. They're now open in Lakeville, Farmington, Eagan, Lindstrom, Hudson, Roseville. Get to Terrene Dermatology, TAREEN, dermatology.com.
Heading out for the weekend? Lucky you.
Don't forget to stop at Thielen Meats of Pierce for some melt-in-your-mouth moments. Mmm.
High quality beef.
Fresh and smoked sausages and brats.
Home smoked bacon.
All natural chicken.
A great selection of fish and seafood.
Visit us at ThielenMeats.com.
We've got the cuts that'll make your meal.
Call to order ahead and pick up on your way to the lake.
You'll be the hit of the party.
No meal's complete without Thielen Meats of Pierce.
Thinking about buying or selling a business, the right legal team makes all the difference. At Helmuth & Johnson, our team specializes in sophisticated mergers and acquisitions, guiding you through every negotiation, contract, and closing with skill and precision. From due diligence to deal structuring, we are 100% client-focused, protecting your interests so you can focus on success. Big or small, we make complex transactions seamless. Visit hjlawfirm.com. That's hjlawfirm.com. Helmuth & Johnson, on your side, at your side, for all of your business needs.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS or go online at carsforkids.org to donate today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRUSH.
Pathetic, but entertaining.
That's pathetic, but entertaining.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Making Sunday sermon have Monday meaning. Now, let's hear faith-based teaching with real-world application. Here's our own Dan Cook with today's Monday message.
All right, Dan, you've got the Monday message today, and you were provoked to think about this a little bit by all of the news today and over the weekend that has really been coming out in the Middle East and the Gaza area about all of the starvation and just how difficult it is right now.
I mean, yeah, that news, which is obviously just a horrible, horrible tragedy. And there's plenty of other news as well. I mean, go back to the IRS sending out that letter saying they're not going to enforce the Johnson Amendment anymore. Here's the highlight that I want people to kind of take away. We hear all the time that folks want to keep faith out of politics. I want to say that goes both ways, and we need to keep politics out of faith as well. What do I mean by that? Well, when faith gets opposed upon people who don't share it, and when politics gets imposed upon faith to seek divine authority, which you end up with is the worst of both worlds. The absolute worst of both worlds, right? Again, yeah, lots of talk today about, starving people in Gaza and trying to get food to people who need it without it, those folks getting hit by bombs and other, military attacks. I want to say two things definitively. One, about that topic. One, the nation state of Israel has every right to defend itself from people who would seek to wipe it off the face of the earth. Flat out, period, paragraph. And politicians who try to use the Bible to say that the United States needs to support the nation state of Israel with whatever they do, however they do it, in any way, shape, or form, are misusing scripture. When you hear a politician referencing the Bible and preaching, that's a problem. When you hear a preacher preaching politics, that's a problem. It doesn't mean that faith can't inform politics. It absolutely should. But faith should be a third rail, should be holding up a mirror to politics and saying, here's our problems, folks. Here's what we're doing, or here's what we're not doing. And I make that point specifically about the idea of the Bible not supporting, saying that we have to support the nation state of Israel, because that was just in the news weeks ago, right? Talking about Gaza today. You had Ted Cruz, United States Senator, misquoting scripture and saying some form of those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. The problem is that when you look at that passage, when you really understand the context of what's going on, first of all, the word Israel is never used. God in that case is talking about Abraham and his kindred. Remember, some of Abraham's, some of the folks in the line of Abraham turn out to be Muslims, by the way. Let's make that very, very clear. The name Israel doesn't come up for another 20 chapters from when that piece of scripture that Ted Cruz was referencing comes up. That's in reference to Abraham's grandson, not Abraham and his line. So we're already twisting things. We're also, in that particular passage, not talking about the geopolitical nation state of Israel as it exists in 2025. So you see how easy it can be to try and grab a proof text here or there. We've seen it with Isaiah. Multiple administrations have tried to pull Isaiah, send me, and use that. Never. Romans 13 is another one that gets grabbed and proof text and thrown out there as a reason to just support whatever the government wants to do. Those are huge problems. Those are huge problems because we twist then faith into being a political prop instead of being what it's supposed to be, which is a way to be real and real humans created in the image of their creator. And it isn't just about this current conflict, right? We've seen, like I said, these several different examples, Isaiah 6:8, Romans 13. I don't believe that the founders intended for there to be a hard divide between faith and politics. Well, isn't that what you're just, arguing, Dan? What the heck are you talking about? But I think the fact that they put up strong barriers tells us something, because they're trying to ward off this exact thing, this idea that faith becomes a political prop, or that politics becomes the focus of the pulpit. Again, that whole idea of the Johnson Amendment not being enforced, which, let's be honest, it never really has been enforced.
Right.
And the Johnson Amendment isn't about faith in particular. It's about nonprofit organizations not being allowed to specifically endorse candidates. That's been turned into preachers at the pulpit can't endorse a candidate. And now supposedly the gloves are off and preachers can do whatever they want. Every time Jesus in the New Testament was challenged to pick a side politically, every time he dodged it. And not just, artfully dodging it, but specifically saying, no, that's not what I'm here to do. And that's not the role of churches. Yes, you can have your faith, like I said, inform your politics. If you were trying to decide which kind of political candidate you want to support, using your faith is absolutely something that can inform
For sure,
you.
yeah.
But if you believe that your faith can only lead you to one conclusion, then you're putting politics ahead of faith.
Yeah.
You just are.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. It's a huge problem, because what happens is then it corrupts the faith. It goes backwards. Instead of using your faith to inform your politics now tells you what your faith actually means. And that's never, ever, ever what Jesus came to do, or what any good faith, for that matter, should do. So yes, politics shouldn't be determined by faith, but faith should also not be determined by politics. That goes both ways. And that's something I think we need to keep in mind, especially as we see this horrible situation playing out in the Middle East, that it's a terribly complex situation, and you can't go to the Bible, pluck one verse and say, this is how we have to handle it.
That's what I always think. Like, if you can't make an argument based on morality, based on the politics or the economics or whatever you think is right, without going to the Bible, well, you maybe work a little harder on your opinion.
Or at least,
like if your justification is, well, the Bible says this, so we have to do this in Israel. I don't know about that.
A lot of folks like to treat the Bible as an answer book. That this has all the answers for life, and you just have to find the right text for it. And I understand that temptation, because there is so much wisdom in the Bible. But the Bible is a narrative arc. And it's a collection of books written by very different people at very different times. Yes. Is there a narrative?
With conflicting information
at times, yes. Yeah. Are there through lines? Absolutely there are.
Sure.
But that's the danger in proof texting. That's the danger in going and grabbing a singular verse and saying, oh, this says this, so I have to do that.
Yeah.
If you don't fit that into the larger narrative of Scripture, if you don't fit that into the larger arc of the movement of God in the world, you turn the Bible into a Rorschach test. You bring whatever you have already decided to it and then try to prove it there rather than actually deriving the wisdom that the text contains.
Cool. This is very good. Very thoughtful. Good topic. Thanks, Dan.
You bet.
It's the Monday message. 431. Different kinds of messages I want to talk about when we come back. 2 ads that really grabbed my attention over the weekend. One with Gwenyth Paltrow, another with Sydney Sweeney. We'll talk about both of those when we come back.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSH on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, it's Jason here. And as I've been driving around Minnesota, I have seen more and more of Chris Lindahl on billboards, and I love to see it. Chris is my friend. I've known him for a long time. He's one of us, by the way. He told me the other day that so many people don't realize that he's from Minnesota. They think, I don't know, they think he's like some sort of cartoon character. He's one of us. He lives here. Went to Mankato. Like, come on. Lindahl wants to help you move on with your life with speed. So you see the billboards with his face. I've seen a bunch of billboards just with his arms wide out. No face. And in there, it talks about a fresh start fast. Chris is out there more than ever because more and more people are saying yes to the guaranteed cash offer. It helps people through life in many different situations, but people are saying yes because they want the speed. If you want a fresh start in life, you do not have time for a house to hold you back. You do not have time to gamble on the open market with interest rates, with repairs, renovations, decluttering, the surprises and delays that pop up when somebody backs out at the last minute. Chris will get you to the finish line. And how about this? He'll do it in as little as 2 days. Imagine the fresh start on your life in just 2 days. Find out. What's that worth to you? Find out right now. Go to chrislindahl.com. Get a guaranteed cash offer. Say yes and start packing. Terms and conditions may apply.
Not listening to WCCO. Listening to WCCO is like turning on the lights. What room am I in? Because suddenly, everything makes sense. Is this even my house? We don't just tell you what's happening. We help you see it more clearly. News Talk 830 WCCO.
Chad back here with you on CCO. Once again, talking about my friends with Aquarius Home Services. That's AquariusHomeservices.com. A customer, not kidding, for 30 plus years. Quality water is so important in our lives. I trust them. What a deal they're offering right now. 25% off a new Connecticut system and schedule your free water analysis. Find out what you have. It's worth it. The best in the business, AquariusHomeservices.com.
Since 1991, Twins Community Fund has been changing lives across Twins territory. Anything is possible on this field. This is where magic happens. Something unexpected also happens here. Life, wrapped in the thrill of the game. This game teaches us how to swing for the fences, and how to strike out swinging with your head held high. We love this game. It's our legacy, powered by you. Get involved at twinscommunityfund.org.
The Minnesota Twins Community Fund is supported in part by Cornerstone Partners, Target, U.S. Bank, Treasure Island Resort and Casino, Nike, and Uponor. We thank them for supporting youth baseball and softball throughout the upper Midwest. Get involved at twinscommunityfund.org.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Problems as you head toward downtown Minneapolis for 35W northbound near 26th Street. It appears to be an accident with injuries. Ambulance on the scene. Traffic is getting past the crash, but it is blocking the left center lane. So be aware of that as you head north past Lake Street. 394 jammed up both directions between Worth Parkway and downtown Minneapolis. North 169 Cedar Lake Road crash cleared. Still some slowdowns though, pretty much as you come up from Excelsior heading up to Highway 55. Terry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Go online before you go outside. HilltopCamper.com has what you need. We're here for new and used. We're here for service. We're here for the outdoors. Above all, HilltopCamper.com is here to help you and your loved ones make memories. HilltopCamper.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Hilltop Camper and RV bringing us Chris Schaefer.
The big focus is on tonight's rain and thunderstorms. I do expect severe storms. I do expect heavy rain. We'll keep you posted on that later on tonight. By tomorrow, we're mostly cloudy with a few isolated showers possible. 83 the high, still a bit humid. Now that humidity goes away Wednesday. Our highs will be in the upper 70s, and we'll keep those conditions for the next several days.
It's hot out there. 89 and sunny on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRUSH, video streaming live on YouTube and always, and I mean always, on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
These days go way too lonely. I'm missing out, I know.
All right, so this weekend, 2 ads popped up that are getting a lot of conversation, and I wanted to just get your reaction to them. I loved both of them. Both of them. The discourse around the surprising reaction the tech company Astronomer had towards the Coldplay thing has been great. I think almost everybody loved the fact that Astronomer hired the consciously uncoupled ex of the lead singer of the band, the lead singer of Coldplay, Chris Martin, the band who was playing when the Astronomer CEO couple was discovered on sort of the kiss cam thing. Let's, if you haven't seen it, let's play you a little sample of that ad right now.
Thank you for your interest in Astronomer. Hi, I'm Gwenyth Paltrow. I've been hired on a very temporary basis to speak on behalf of the 300 plus employees at Astronomer. Astronomer has gotten a lot of questions over the last few days, and they wanted me to answer the most common ones. Yes, Astronomer is the best place to run Apache Airflow.
And the question is like, OMG, what the actual... And then they go into like talking about
a newfound interest in data workflow automation. As for the other questions we've received.
And this one says, how is your social media team holding
room
up?
Available at our Beyond Analytics event in September. We will now be returning to what we do best, delivering game-changing results for our customers.
So good.
Thank you for your interest.
So good. Like, grab the story everyone's talking about. It came out today that the agency that produced this ad was Ryan Reynolds, the actor Ryan Reynolds. And, you know, he's got Mint. He's done those very clever ads for, is it Aviator?
Aviator Gin is
the
his
gin.
Yeah, he owns that too.
This is so good. Yeah. Like whatever they paid Gwyneth Paltrow,
worth it.
Yeah, like last week on this show, we were discussing, like, is this, you know, when the HR director or the head of people, we can't have HR directors anymore. You're the head of people, head of persons.
Chief people officer, I believe is that.
All right. So when she resigned, you're like, well, is this over yet? Well, not really. And then this, you're like, yep, now it's over.
Right.
You did it.
Well, they have this, and then now there's rumblings that the former CEO may try to sue the band over this.
Oh, just let it go, my man.
So yeah, he should, but I hope he doesn't, because to me, still, I love the fact that this story has brought people together across spectrums that have battled tooth and nail for the last decade and a half, at least, in just either dunking on this couple, or now you see the creativity that has come out of this, to me, is absolutely worth every second of it. And I hope it continues.
It's very good. The comedy is very good.
It's excellent.
Now, don't give me the like, well, you know, we can't make fun of somebody's marital. Yeah, like,
we can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we feel badly for the spouses and the family,
and the kids, and you can both feel bad for them and enjoy Gwyneth Paltrow's commercial.
Yeah, you know what is funny? Funny stuff.
Yes,
and this is funny. Sorry it happened to you. Do we have to be so sensitive to everyone's little individual concern? No, we do not. We don't. Some of you are better people than me. Maybe you are sensitive to everyone's concerns. I'm not. Now, this next ad is tremendous evidence of the fact that some of you spend way too much time online. Because I will play you the Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ad. And let me just say, this ad is a great reason, Dan, why people should be on our YouTube channel, because this segment is going to be much more enjoyable. If you see the Sydney, well, much more enjoyable for our, well, for folks who like a beautiful woman.
There you go.
Here we go. Sydney Sweeney for a denim and jeans company.
I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans. And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. Or that they make your butt look amazing. Why would I need to do that? But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Sydney Sweeney has very keen.
You see what I did there, right?
Okay. Now, when I first saw this, I had several reactions, and then I took a moment, and then I thought about the ad. And it's a beautiful woman. Again, very, I think, adeptly and brilliantly leaning into the fact that, like, she is a sex symbol, right?
Yes.
And I think she has, for everyone who wants to say real feminism is when you grab control of that dynamic. And I think she is making money over it.
Yes, she is.
She has elevated her fame over this. So if the male gaze helped her achieve fame, I would say the way she has handled it has given her all the power in the dynamic. So, like, that is, I think feminism can take hold in many different ways. And the fact that a young woman has grabbed control of this, made it a career, brilliant. I think it's brilliant.
For sure.
Headline: American Eagle sparks backlash for touting Sydney Sweeney's great jeans. An ad slogan has roused many online to accuse the brand of promoting eugenics, while those on the right are praising the campaign as a blow to wokeness. So I would say all of you are absolute idiots. If you think this is an anti-woke campaign, you're an idiot. If you think this is a Nazi-like campaign praising the blonde hair and blue-eyed genetics of a white woman, you are an idiot. What is happened to seemingly normal people who have lost the ability to just be like, oh, that's an ad for jeans for a hot girl? That's it. That's all it is. Well, the subtext is clear here, Jason. What are you talking about? Are you that? Do you live in a cave? Look at the society today. They're selling blue jeans for a company that makes money selling blue jeans. Is this the eugenics campaign we've all been waiting for? Come on. Come on. If you think this is eugenics, 651-461-9226, please call in because I want to understand what you're thinking. And I saw all of this going crazy on social media. And some of it, you're like, okay, is this just like people looking for clicks and clout?
So we talked about, the reaction to the Coldplay couple and the Gwenyth ad being the best of the internet.
Yes.
This reaction is the worst of the internet because it's what we've talked about so many times. Everything gets seen now through a political angle, through a political lens. And so this ad is either supporting my idea that we're promoting blonde and blue-eyed too much and that's somehow being set up to anybody that doesn't meet that standard is being set up to fail. And this ad is just more evidence of that. Or it's, everything's too woke and this is a pushback against that. See, we start with this axe that we want to grind and then wash it through whatever lens, is happening to be fashionable or getting attention on the internet right now. And that's what the Coldplay thing didn't do.
Right.
It didn't do that. It was just, here's some people that got caught doing a bad thing. And everybody loved the fact that they were, high-ranking officers in a company getting caught, getting busted. Because work-a-day folks, that happens to them. Nobody cares, but it's a big deal when it's powerful people.
Everything doesn't need to have like your hot, inspired take.
Exactly.
It's just a sexy jeans ad. Like, isn't this, we've been doing this since Brooke Shields, right? Like, is this so difficult for people to just, I don't know. What I can never tell is like, is it just a bit? Is it a bit from people who like getting attention? Or you might say, Jason, I'd like to ask you that question. Isn't this entire show a bit from someone who likes getting attention? I'm not going to deny that That's part of it. I just think, like, at a certain point, when you have, you want to say, like, no, we're not, the crazy, we're not a crazy woke mob. We're serious. We're like, these are important issues. And then you waste your energy on some of this. You're like, well, maybe you are a crazy woke mob. Of course, everybody's using it for whatever. Fox News, Sydney Sweeney facing woke backlash for steamy ad. Hard to argue. I mean, that is what she's facing. For what it's worth, I think her butt looks great in those jeans. Also, all of you, your butts look great in your jeans, too. You're all doing great. 4:49, drive time, back in just a minute.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRUSH. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
I'm not sure if they're going to want me to talk about the denim selection at J.H. & Sons at the Galleria in Edina as being a way to make your butt look great. Men, you deserve it too. Is Jason here for J.H. & Sons. And every time I go in, J.H. & Sons has a tailor on shop. On site. His name is Dean. And every time I go in there, Dean is like, Jason, pull up. You got to pull up the pants in the back. You got to pull it up. It's like you don't want saggy butt. You gotta pull up the pants. Part of it is the great tailoring. J.H. & Sons has that tailor that's going to make the jeans, make the pants, make the suit look perfect on you. Right now, they got their summer sale going on, up to 50% off on all sorts of spring and summer items. The service is amazing. Do you think a lot of our listeners are worried about their butts looking great in their clothes? You should be, gentlemen. And the women out there, take your guy to J.H. & Sons. They're at the Galleria in Edina. Great family business. Been here in Minnesota for more than 50 years. It's where I get all my suits. It's where they want to take care of Drive Time listeners. Tell them you heard it on Drive Time. Sign up for their email list at jhnsons.com.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Out here in the middle of these acres, it can feel like you're the only person on Earth. That's how it feels when you're struggling with your mental health. But you don't have to feel alone. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
If something happens to you, what happens to your family? Will they struggle financially? Will they be able to afford the home you built together? With Ethos, you can get life insurance coverage in minutes. Get up to $2 million in coverage for as little as $2 a day. All online with no medical exam. Just answer a few health questions. Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life. Rates may vary. Billed monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
612 Saturdays are back at Target Field. Enjoy $6 drinks, $1 snacks, and $2 food when gates open.
I'm from the 952. Can I enjoy 612 Saturdays?
The 952 is welcome.
I'm from the 218.
218, 651. Everyone is welcome at 612 Saturdays.
I'm from the 313. How about me?
That's Detroit.
Yeah.
Sure. Enjoy the weekend wind-up with 612 Saturdays presented by Carbliss. $6 drinks, $1 snacks, and $2 food. When we're together, the Twins rise as one. Join in at twins.com/tickets.
Man, look at that Return of the Old King, man. Oh, wow. Emotional.
King of the Hill is back.
They got a Bob's in the airport now. Oh, that's Boba.
World has changed, Dad.
Bobby wants to bring that new girl over for dinner.
The Vegas? What the hell am I supposed to feed her?
Can't we just put some grass in a bowl?
From Mike Judge and Greg Daniels.
Ready to make some memories, Dad?
Let's freaking go.
A Hulu original series, King of the Hill. Season premiere August 4th. Streaming on Hulu.
You need parts? O'Reilly has parts.
Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select pads for just $10. Or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or Import Direct pads for just $20. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought to you by Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Going to find some problems at 35W northbound 26th Street. Crash with injuries. Left 2 lanes shut down. Traffic is slow as you come up from 50th Street. 494 eastbound jammed up between the Bush Lake Roads and Cedar Avenue. South 169 slow and go as you come in from 494. Heading down to 101. Prepare for a mesmerizing evening of music when Hailstorm, Lindsey Sterling, and special guest Apocalyptica bring the Never Rest Duality Tour to the Treasure Island Amphitheater. Hear electrifying hits like I Miss the Misery and Apocalyptic from Hailstorm, and Crystallize and Roundtable Rival from Lindsey Sterling Friday, September 26th. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
With a well-designed will, trust, and estate plan, you can have peace of mind. Choose Matt Gutman of Gutman Law to give yourself peace of mind. Call him now, 612-895-1616 at gutmanlaw.com. Gutman Law, peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
All right, CCO forecast brought to you by Gutman Law, Wills Trust, and Probate Law at gutmanlaw.com. Tonight, we are watching for heavy rain and strong winds before midnight. It could threaten the Twins game tonight, low of 70. We'll see when it arrives here in the Twin Cities. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, isolated showers, high of 83. Wednesday, we finish up the week with lower humidity. Thank goodness. Right now, it's 89 on CCO.
Broadcasting from the Flativeau Land Studios, this is News Talk 830 WCCO. If you're looking to buy or sell farmland, you need Flativeau Land. For the latest auctions, listings, appraisals, and consulting, visit FlativeauLand.com.
So Laura will have the update for you in the news, but the Park Tavern drunk driver who killed 2 people, injured several other who were just sitting on the patio last summer, Stephen Bailey, got sentenced today to 30 years in prison. And I will say, thank God. For once, a drunk driver who killed some people is getting punished as severely as he deserves. Stephen Bailey is in his late 50s. So if he serves 20 years, he'll get out in his late 70s. It is another example of sort of this uncomfortable relationship we have in our society with really holding drunk drivers accountable. And I mean, obviously Christina Folkerts and Gabriel Harvey, who both were killed, you think like, man, their families. I don't know. One of them in court today said, today's the last day I think about Bailey. But I do believe he'll think about us every day. This guy has multiple DUIs. His own family tried to intervene with him throughout his life. And he just, I think the judge said that he gave up on himself. I wish we had a better way, tougher laws, enough room in prisons, a better way to hold people accountable who gave up on themselves before they go and kill somebody else. But it's the strongest sentence possible. And he'll never drive drunk again. Just a tragedy all the way around, but some degree of justice today. Local news coming up. DeRUSH Hour News headlines at the top of the hour.
So many of us look around our house and say it is time to downsize. That's exactly what Susan and Kevin Borowick did. They join us now. I want to ask you about the process of working with the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty, and your agent, Kieran Evanson.
Well, it was just extremely smooth. We sat down, he did a market analysis for us so we could really develop a good pricing strategy. He sent out a staging consultant who helped us get things ready for showing. We just couldn't be happier. We received an offer, actually more than one offer, quite a bit over our asking price.
That's part of the whole Schuster Group difference, is that their marketing programs really target the right buyers. Did you feel that when they were going through the process with you?
Absolutely.
If someone is on the fence about hiring the Schuster Group, what would you tell them?
They greatly exceeded our expectations, and I would say you just cannot go wrong working with the Schuster Group.
Contact John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, 952-222-9000, online, johnschustergroup.com. Terms and conditions may apply.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start August 13th. An accredited state university, University of Maryland Global Campus, offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits towards a master's. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chevy.
Hi, Denny Long here. Join us every Saturday for the Home Improvement Show by Lindis Construction. Andy Lindis and I will be taking your home improvement questions both by phone and by text every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock here on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hear, think, understand, repeat. Your information station is News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. It is extremely hot across much of the nation again today. Meteorologist David Parkinson.
We've got 198 million people under some sort of heat alert from the northern plains into Florida and on up into New England.
CBS's Jim Krasula reports.
More than half of the nation's population is under heat alerts, with many places from the plains to the East Coast in for temperatures that feel as hot as 115 degrees. These construction workers are trying to cope with the heat in Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
We drink lots of water, take frequent breaks, look out for each other, find AC when we can, stuff like that.
We usually keep 5 gallons of water at all times. That's what we got to do.
The extreme heat in the east is expected to break by the end of the week. Jim Krasula, CBS News.
In Scotland, President Trump met with the British Prime Minister today and said he wants more aid for Gaza.
We're going to be getting some good, strong food. We can save a lot of people. I mean, some of those kids that's real starvation stuff. I see it.
The UN's Tom Fletcher says it will take time to bring Gaza back from the brink.
We need a sustained period of delivery, weeks, months, to build up, to stop that starvation and build up the supplies again.
CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder.
Starvation doesn't end when the eating starts again. And if we've learned anything from history, it's this. The longer hunger is allowed to go on, the deeper those wounds will run and the harder they will be to heal.
Israel is pausing some military operations while aid is brought into Gaza, but some of it is being offloaded by desperate crowds before it reaches its destination. Trump today also shortened his deadline for Russian President Vladimir Putin to end the war in Ukraine.
And I'm going to reduce that 50 days that I gave him to a lesser number because I think I already know the answer what's going to happen.
Trump said Putin now has 10 to 12 days starting today. There's been a deadly accident at a Miami sailing camp. Matt Piper reports.
At least 2 children were killed and 2 others were critically injured after a barge struck their sailboat. It happened near Hibiscus Island in Miami Beach. The Coast Guard says when the barge hit the sailboat, the 5 children and 1 adult on board were thrown into the water. The sailboat, part of the Miami Youth Sailing Foundation, sank following the impact.
The sailing camp is for kids age 7 to 15. Colorado coach Deion Sanders says he was diagnosed with an aggressive form of bladder cancer, but after surgery, his doctors consider him cured. Another round of U.S.-China trade talks took place in Sweden. On Wall Street, stocks finished mixed. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Minnesota's trusted voice every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Partly cloudy, 86 degrees at 5:03. I'm Laura Oakes. A heads up as our weather is expected to take another severe turn in a matter of hours. The National Weather Service says intense storms are firing up in South Dakota. They're going to spread eastward into Minnesota and Iowa. Damaging winds are the main concern. The Twin Cities is in the enhanced risk category for severe weather later tonight, with the worst of it expected in southern and southwestern Minnesota. WCCO TV meteorologist Chris Schaefer will have the very latest at 5:08. 30 years in prison for the man convicted of driving drunk and crashing his car into the Park Tavern's patio, killing 2 people. 57-year-old Stephen Bailey had a blood alcohol level nearly 4 times the legal limit for driving. Bailey also must pay restitution to the victims. Christina Folkerts and Gabe Harvey died in that crash. Folkerts worked at the St. Louis Park Bar. Harvey was a healthcare specialist. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is weighing in on state capitol security after a man broke in over the weekend.
Governor Walz held a ceremonial signing of the Agriculture, Finance, and Policy Bill in Delano, emphasizing the major investment for Minnesota farmers.
A good bipartisan farm bill here in Minnesota, and I will note they got it done.
He also doubled down on his concerns about vulnerabilities at the state capitol after the arrest of a man who was found naked in the Senate chambers on Saturday.
There's no state that allows so many open access points that you can get in from any corner, anywhere. The door the individual came through did not set off an alarm.
Walz says he would like to see more cameras at access points and would be on board for a formal assessment of security in the Capitol complex area. In Delano, I'm Taylor Rivera, News Talk 830 WCCO.
A pilot on a Delta flight that left the Twin Cities for San Francisco over the weekend is arrested on the plane, accused of possessing child pornography. The arrest happened around 9:30 Saturday night after the plane landed in San Francisco. No report from a passenger who described to a San Francisco newspaper the barrage of armed officers from multiple agencies storming the cockpit to arrest that pilot. Some trade action for the Minnesota Twins today. Starting pitchers Chris Paddock and Randy Dobnak are headed to the Detroit Tigers for catching prospect Enrique Jimenez. The Twins and Red Sox opening a 3-game series at Target Field tonight. The pregame at 6 o'clock right here on WCCO Radio. And you know, fall is just around the corner when Gopher football practice starts. That's what happened today, exactly 1 month before the season opener at home against Buffalo.
What I love about our football team as we go into 2025 is they want to do it. They don't have to do it. They're not just doing it because they're getting paid. They want to do it, and they want to be the best team they can be.
Head coach P.J. Fleck starting his 9th season at the U. Fleck has won 58 games in his 8 seasons with the Gophers. That's the 5th most in school history and includes 6 straight bowl wins. He recently signed a contract extension that runs through the 2030 season. WCCO News Times, 5:06.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Crash still working north 35W 26th Street. Left 2 lanes are shut down right now. Things are slow as you come up from 50th Street. Slowdowns in place. South 35W 106th Street down to Highway 13. South 169 remains jammed. 494 to Highway 101. If you're traveling 394, got some slowdowns right out of downtown Minneapolis. You head across 394 heading out to Penn Avenue. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Choose Herbert and Gerbert's when you want fresh ingredients for a perfect sandwich like the Italian Flash or the Turkey Avocado Norma. Funky names are full of flavor. And don't forget our hearty soups and chili. Stop by or order ahead online. HerbertandGerberts.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days. with your CCO forecast.
And yes, it is brought to you by Herbert and Gerbert's. Fresh ingredients on sandwiches always. And don't forget that soup. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The big concern is the storm potential later on tonight. We expect heavy rain and strong to damaging winds. We'll keep you posted on that as it's happening. 70 the overnight low tonight. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a few isolated showers. Still a bit muggy with a high around 83. Total relief arrives on Wednesday. A high in the upper 70s. Not humid. Those conditions stick around right through the weekend.
Partly cloudy right now, 86 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
News as it happens. The biggest stories are broken and broken down right here. News Talk 830 WCCO. He knows news. He knows talk. He knows nonsense too. So get ready for a lot of each. This is Drive Time with DeRUSH. Once again, here's Jason DeRUSH.
All right, here we go again tonight. Let's hope we don't have any sort of major weather tonight like we did last night. It was, I was driving around Robbinsdale, trees down all over the place in the sort of Robbinsdale, Minneapolis, Vickery, Memorial Drive area. A lot of cleanup for people. A lot of contractors knocking on doors probably with hail hitting your roofs and that sort of thing. Just buy local. That's what I always say. Pay attention to who's knocking on the door. Lots going on in the news over this weekend. Let's get you up to date with everything that's on my mind as we do the DRUSH Hour News headlines.
Now, time to get you caught up on some of the biggest stories of the day. These are the DeRUSH Hour headlines.
Good evening. Our top story.
This just in.
Our top story.
We begin tonight.
We begin tonight.
We begin tonight. We begin tonight. We begin with the lead.
And our lead story is serious security breach. A naked guy gets into the Minnesota State Capitol and was there like 3 times before he was finally taken into custody. Lots of questions about security, about lawmakers' safety, all of this, of course, against the backdrop of an assassin targeting elected state officials. Not that long ago, Blois Olson is with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline because he's been gathering and reporting on lawmaker concern in the morning and the lunch take. Blois, it's a drive time take right now. How serious are lawmakers considering this breach?
Depends on which lawmaker there is, but look, I think in the environment we're in with the assassination of Melissa Hortman, the shooting of the Hoffmans, that there is no lawmaker who shouldn't be taken seriously on this issue. And there is multiple factors that say that the level of urgency since June 14th just doesn't seem to be as high as it will. And even the governor's comments today that he would be for a full assessment of security at the Capitol complex, to me says, okay, now we're going to have an assessment. How long will that take? And when is there actually something in place that can make lawmakers and the public feel more secure that there's actually a plan to protect people at the Capitol?
Blois Olson with us. I mean, to me, Blois, if somebody who thinks he's the governor, and clearly this guy, I'm not as crazy about he should have been locked up, but the fact that 3 times he comes back, you're like, hey, I don't know. But the fact that somebody in this state was able to get in fairly easily, it seems, getting into the state capitol, to me is just astonishing. I can't believe it.
That there is a door without a camera, that there is a door without an alarm on the weekend when nobody's in session, should say that it's not there. My sources have told me for months, this came up at the beginning of the session, that when the Capitol was renovated, it was wired for metal detectors and cameras. And they made the decision not to go full on metal detector when they reopened the Capitol after the restoration. But cameras and video monitoring would seem to be a basic elementary thing that any security professional would recommend on a high target building. And let's also remember that Walz administration, during various events of civil unrest, during the inauguration of Donald Trump the second time, declared that the Capitol was a potential target. And so it's not like they haven't had issues to review. They just don't seem to have the urgency to do anything about preventative.
You know, obviously, this specific scenario, like I'm not concerned that this specific guy was going to do anything, right? What I'm concerned about is that if it's that easy for a guy in the middle of mental health crisis to get into the state capitol building on a weekend when it's closed, well, that just underscores how easy we know, I guess, how easy when the Capitol's open, that somebody who wanted to do harm would have very little problem getting in there and doing something. It underscores how I guess how unserious we are about this issue.
I think that's the point, Jason. We are unserious about it. But I want to put it in perspective. When I go to the Capitol after hours, even during session, to do TPT Almanac, I need an escort and I don't have a key card, and I can't, like many times, I can't find my way in. When they aren't in session, somebody who's having a mental health crisis has found their way in. That should give you an idea that either I don't go in the right door or those doors don't have the right security.
Yeah. Craziness. All right. Another example of just how much work needs to be done on this. And it doesn't seem that difficult. Any corporate building would have this sucker locked down, and it already would have been locked down after the assassination. So the fact that this happened this weekend, to me, is just absolutely head scratching.
We'll have more tomorrow in the morning take. I'm getting some info tonight from last week, and the governor said there's a meeting of legislative leaders on this topic, but there's also a Capitol security meeting on August 20th. But that's 2 months.
Do we need to wait for that? Isn't somebody in charge over there to say, like, let's at least make sure we have a camera at every door?
I'll put it this way, Jason. You know that if there was a threat at WCCO radio, there would already have been a meeting.
Yeah.
And let's just say we don't quite have the resources of the state government at WCCO radio.
That's right. Lois Olson, Morning Take. We'll listen to you with Vanita tomorrow morning and read the Morning Take in our inbox via email tomorrow. Thanks, Blois.
See you, Jason.
Next up, an amazing development of technology from Mayo Clinic. It is a partnership with NVIDIA, which is the hottest name in artificial intelligence, and a way to try to harness all of the decades of slides of little kind of samples, tissue samples from people who have been treated at Mayo Clinic. How can we unlock what is in there? Jim Rogers, the CEO of Mayo Clinic Digital Pathology, is with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline, because, Jim, you guys have so much information. This new AI supercomputer, the computing challenge is making sense of all of this data, right?
That's exactly right. And it's kind of fascinating. We have data that goes all the way back to our beginning. Essentially, we have records that were written by the Mayo brothers. We have pathology slides. So these are glass slides with tissue samples in them, going all the way back to the beginning. And so all that data is powerful and it's helpful, but a lot of it is in analog form, meaning that we can't have AI work against it to help and digitize it in a way that then AI can be applied to it effectively. We believe we really can transform the way medicine is practiced.
This supercomputer is here in the Twin Cities area, and Brooklyn Park is where it's based. How, I guess, why do it yourself? Why build your own computer as opposed to kind of putting it in the cloud or doing it the way a lot of other places are?
Yeah, we're taking really a hybrid approach, meaning that we do still access compute in the cloud, and we do have on-prem resources, and we'll use compute at the edge. But the reason that we're using this cluster, and fortunately for us, NVIDIA is doing all the heavy lifting for us.
Sure.
But the reason we're doing it and the reason that we're using it is when you're trying to build some of these models, these what we would call frontier or foundation models. These are models that are built on a massive amount of data, and they allow you to essentially unlock the insights within that data, and there you could build solutions on top of those models. To do that really takes a significant compute resource. To be able to have the resource that's available to us 100% allows us really to unlock a lot of our innovators internally. So we think it's important to do it.
The other thing I think is interesting as we're talking with Jim Rogers, the CEO of Mayo Clinic Digital Pathology, is that word pathology. You guys are focusing on, diseases, understanding diseases, which is maybe different from the way we've been hearing about a lot of the innovation and sort of this supercomputing being applied to our bodies, which is focused more on like unlocking the genetics or the DNA.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of different data points that could be helpful in trying to find new therapies and new diagnostics. What's interesting about pathology is really only about maybe 5 to 10% of practices worldwide are currently digital. And so what that means is most people are still reading glass slides, much as we did back at the turn of the century around the 1800s, 1900s. Now the the microscopes have changed. There's different staining techniques, so you can get a little bit more information. But the reality is all the data that's contained within those slides is really unavailable. It's locked up and it's unavailable for AI. And so what we think by pathology is because there's this huge trove of data that heretofore has really been untapped. And if we can figure a way to unlock it and tap it, we believe we can bring forward significant insights.
So cool. It's really exciting stuff, and we love having this kind of innovation happening here in Minnesota. Jim Rogers, CEO of Mayo Clinic Digital Pathology. Jim, thank you.
Jason, thank you. Really appreciate the opportunity and the time.
All right, Jim Rogers, pretty cool stuff going on at Mayo Clinic. That is the lead. Page 2 coming your way in just a moment. We are going to talk about a guy who resigned at the University of Minnesota and now is working for the federal agency that was investigating him. What? Eastside, St. Paul, what's going on with return to office? And Gen Z, are they really having less sex? We'll talk about that next.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRUSH on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Construction problems come with challenges, but legal issues shouldn't be one of them. At Helmuth & Johnson, we focus on construction law, protecting contractors, developers, and business owners from costly disputes. From contract negotiations to litigation and compliance, we make sure your projects stay on track and your interests stay protected. Whether it's a delay, a dispute, or a deal, we've got you covered. Visit hjlawfirm.com. That's hjlawfirm.com. Helmuth & Johnson, on your side, at your side.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
Chad back here with you. I want to talk about trust and peace of mind. We all need it, in particular in some areas, including your insurance. Maybe it's for your business, or maybe it's more traditional with your house and your car. For me, I have trusted Amber Scholl and associates with American Family for what are you guessing? 5 years, 10 years? No. My entire family, whether it's my father or my kids, with American Family, with Amber in particular, for 30 years. We dread something bad happening with our house, with a car accident, but we need people with expertise, with professionalism and availability, and that's what Amber and her team are all about. Reach out to them today. It's worth it. Trust me. 651-738-4811.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
Jason DeRusha.
I like it fast. I like it.
You like it to clip along.
Like, let it rip.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
You know that sound? It means it's time for page 2 of the DRUSH Hour News headlines. Our first story of this segment is, so this professor resigns at the University of Minnesota. He resigned because he was under investigation by a federal agency. And now the guy's working for the federal agency. In this story, our investigative reporter Eric Rasmussen at 5 Eyewitness News asked the question we're all asking, what? So this professor's under investigation. There were allegations that, like, he was kind of fabricating research results. So the Department of Energy is like, hey, this $2 million grant that we've given to you, we're ending it. And, you know, this guy, Dr. Sayan Biswas, his attorney, denied the allegation, said the conclusions by the government were a gross exaggeration. But he did resign his position at the end of the school year. Kind of, you know, you're like, well, this ain't going to work out for me. I'm out of here. So he's like, well, I got to pick up some side hustle gig. How about I get a job at the Department of Energy? He is now a contractor with a fellowship for the DOE's Office of Technology Commercialization. Yeah. His attorney, with a straight face, typed this into his computer. Dr. Biswas is deeply committed to advancing U.S. energy dominance and ensuring reliable, affordable energy for all Americans. His decision to serve at the Department of Energy reflects his commitment to shaping forward-looking energy policy. True, really. Well done. Well done. If you want to get really cynical about this guy went from working in a taxpayer-paid job at the University of Minnesota, resigned because the taxpayers didn't trust the grant money that they were giving to support his taxpayer-funded job. And now he's a contractor making money from the taxpayers. What a country. No wonder he's dedicated to forward-looking. All of this allegedly, of course. 5 Eyewitness News Report, don't sue me. We've talked a lot about Target and some Minneapolis companies bringing people back to the office. But what's happening on the east side?
What are you looking at? Back to work.
Pioneer Press reporting that there is a decent amount of activity going on the east side of town. Two of Minnesota's largest employers, 3M and the state of Minnesota, recently announced they want their employees in office more often than not. But overall, it's not a massive sea change on the east side and in the suburbs. State employees have to come back at least 50% of their scheduled workday. Legal publishing and media data firm Thomson Reuters is leaning into this hybrid work model. 3M has people coming back. Ecolab requires employees to spend at least 60% of their time in the office. That's been their policy since 2022. And Securian requires 3 days in the office. There are a lot of firms that have sort of landed on remote work, kind of the office as a hub where you come back occasionally. And so far, they seem to be sticking with that. Gen Z. Is Gen Z really having less sex?
There's all kinds of music. Fast and loud.
Yeah. See, this is Gen Z's problem. You listen to today's music, that's not gonna get it done.
But baby, you know which one.
Yeah.
I choose.
Okay. All right. Okay. Dan, everyone's gonna turn off the radio and just get going.
Good for them.
Yeah, good for them. Good for you. So USA Today reporting on this because there's a new book out by Carter Sherman, a 31-year-old. And her book is called The Second Coming. It explores Gen Z's sex lives or lack thereof. Now, in this USA Today story, nobody asked Carter Sherman what kind of her deal was, 2022 survey from the Kinsey Institute found 1 in 4 Gen Z. Now, how old are Gen Zers? Before we get too worked up on this, Gen Zers are, 13 to 28 years old.
Yeah. So,
yeah. I mean,
that's in range.
Let's close our eyes and not think about the 13 to 18-year-old.
Okay.
Says the dad. But
the latter decade.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting. This journalist interviewed more than 100 young people and found it's not really a puritanical thing, but it is. There are a lot of reasons. It's typical Gen Z, or everybody has a different reason. So some very aware of the overturning of Roe v. Wade, depending on where you live, the lack of access to abortion, maybe a reason. 16% of Gen Zers say they're more hesitant to date since the fall of Roe. So just some anxiety. And then the bottom line of the concern for this by this journalist is she says, what I worry about is if having less sex is a proxy for not having relationships. That I think is a bigger concern. Whatever, if young people are or aren't, it doesn't really matter. But if you are not making connections with others, if you are not having relationships, that is a concern. So probably a lot more research to come in that area. That is the DRUSH Hour News headlines. Dave Schwartz, busy day in sports. Already the Twins making some moves. What else will happen in the coming days? Dave will talk about that next.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSH on News Talk 830 WCCO. When you call News Talk 830 WCCO, you're not just another voice.
So go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
You're part of the conversation.
You had the audacity, the gall.
You have no clue.
Call in.
Yeah, I don't know.
Speak out.
Need to get their heinies moving and get some work done.
Be heard.
This is not good behavior at all.
I have a feeling, an opinion.
Think about it.
Where Minnesota comes to talk. News Talk 830 WCCO.
Everyone who's ever sold a home asks themselves 2 questions during the process. How long will it take, and will it sell for enough money?
This is Vanita. There's a lot of stress that can come with home selling because with the wrong real estate agent, there's a lot of uncertainty. With the right one, you can feel confident, and you will feel confident when you contact my friend, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group Coldwell Banker Realty. Rick and Nancy had their minds at ease after selling their lakefront home in the Twin Cities. They hired a different real estate agent before John. Things didn't go according to plan. The house sat on the market for over a year with no success. You know how long it took John to sell it with his marketing? 11 days. He reaches buyers and you make money. Contact John for full details. 952-222-9000. Online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. johnschustergroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Grown-ups, aren't Sundays more fun without, can I have screen time? Can I have a snack? I don't want to go to Grandma's. It smells funny. And I'm bored. Bored is impossible on Kids Day at Target Field. The gate 30 for lawn is turned into Bullseye's backyard. Kids' meals are half off. Kids 12 and under can run the bases after the game. And Grandma's invited too. Enjoy your weekend wind-up with Sunday Kids Days, presented by Target. Join in at twins.com/tickets.
New month, new flavors. Jordana here for my friends at Mini Leaf. I'm talking about those Sleep Night gummies. I know you love them, and they even have a new and improved Sleep Night gummy. But here's a twist. They got some new flavors. So, better sleep and some yummy new flavors. Great grape, green apple snooze, and mellow mango in the nighttime blend. And of course, everybody loves the peaceful pineapple. That still exists in those Sleep Night gummies. Better sleep is the way to a better you. Mini Leaf can make that happen. I give these out to friends all the time. I recommend them for anybody who's having sleep troubles. You guys know they help me get off my Ambien, really. These gummies helped me get off a pharmaceutical. I hope they will do wonders for you. Here's how you get them. Minileaf.com. MINNELEAF.com.
Mini Leaf means quality. Taste happy at minileaf.com.
The home of Minnesota's best legal products.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought to you by Laguna, Minnesota. Visit buildthenorth.com. North 35W 26th Street. Crash cleared. Left 2 lanes have been reopened. Traffic still a bit slow. Those come up from 46th Street. West 94 to Minneapolis jammed up. The others come in from Cretin into the downtown stretch. 394 eastbound watching slowdowns. Park Place Boulevard into downtown Minneapolis. Laguna, Minnesota reminds you to slow down when you see orange cones and yellow vests all year round. They're working to improve your infrastructure and build a better Minnesota for you. So please slow down, save lives, keep construction workers safe. Brought to you by Laguna, Minnesota. Visit buildthenorth.com. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Look your best, feel your best. Thinning hair is so common, and there's a proven solution. Hair Restoration Institute of Minnesota. They've helped tens of thousands over the past 30 years, men, women, and me. Get more hair at a free consultation at HRIMN.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
CCO forecast brought to you by Hair Restoration Institute of Minneapolis. Book your free consultation at HRIMN.com. Here is our friend, Chris Schaefer.
The big focus is on tonight's rain and thunderstorms. I do expect severe storms. I do expect heavy rain. We'll keep you posted on that later on tonight. By tomorrow, we're mostly cloudy with a few isolated showers possible. 83 the high, still a bit humid. Now that humidity goes away Wednesday. Our highs will be in the upper 70s, and we'll keep those conditions for the next several days.
It is 89 degrees. Frankly, it's the kind of night you're going to want to be hanging out on the inside of the Minneapolis Club right here in downtown. It's got a great patio. Alyssa and I were hanging out on the patio the other day. But if you, tonight I think it's a sit at the bar or go inside and have dinner. You can join the I'm a member, love being a member. But Charlie's is open to anybody. So you can come to the bar. You can make a reservation for dinner. And, if you're Dave, they even let Dave Schwartz in to have lunch with me. So check out the Minneapolis Club. Here comes Schwartz.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRUSH. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO. Now let's get a Monday rundown on the weekend in sports, where Dave brings the analysis and Jason brings the snacks.
Get your popcorn ready.
Time for some fun talking ball and other stuff with Dave Schwartz on Drive Time with DeRUSH.
How about that? New open, new big voice guy for you.
I love it. I'm no longer a Jersey snob.
Right? Yes.
And I no longer have a cold, because I think that was a clip when I was like very nasally.
It is funny when you say, our boss, Brad, is always listening and looking for like a little clip to take out of context and use throughout the day.
Yeah.
And then something like I'm a Jersey snob lives on for 3 years.
It is, but it is pretty, to be fair, it is a good characterization of me. I am a Jersey snob.
Yeah. You just got to own it. You got to own. As I get older, I sort of own the various. I used to try to deny, am I elitist? Am I judgmental? Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. You are what you are, right?
Yeah,
not going to change now.
No, it's too late. It's too late.
Mm-hmm.
We say goodbye in true professional sports fashion with a beautiful graphic that says thank you. This is one of my favorite things about sports. It cracks me up when I get fired or traded to like KQ, or when they trade me to My Talk to do like celebrity girl chat in the afternoon or whatever. WCCO radio, all I ask is that they make some graphic that says thank you.
Thank you.
And then here's a boot right up the butt, kicking you out the door. That's what happened to Chris Paddock today.
The only thing better is the return and the when they come back and it's the thank you video.
Do people do fans like this? Because as you know, I hold a grudge. And so when a player is gone, unless you're a legend, right? Like the Karl Anthony Towns welcome, that video.
Yes.
For sure. Totally warranted. But if Chris Paddock ever comes back to the Twins, I don't want a welcome home video. No.
It's...
You guys do this on the Wild. You do this.
You want to make it seem like... And you do. You care about the players and you care about them. But what else are you going to say other than, when you're leaving, you're going to thank you. It would look, the graphic would be much worse if it said thank you for nothing or see you later.
Isn't this one better? Just the official like trade alert. And then here it is. And that's enough. It's just why are we saying I guess there's nothing wrong with thank you. It's fine. But it is hilarious to me.
But here's the interesting thing. Did they thank Eddie Dobnak?
But I do think
Did he get a thank you?
I don't think he was on the 40-man roster, so you don't get a thank you unless you're on.
How rude? How rude is that?
By the way, the Tigers are back in town here in Minneapolis in just about 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
August 14th for a 4-game set. So odds are you're going to see Mr. Paddock again.
Well, and if by some stretch Dobnak pitches, you have to go with the 3-star Uber graphic, right? Because he was an Uber driver,
right?
Like 2 stars, would not recommend.
Now, the Saints did their own very St. Paul Saints sort of goodbye.
Yes.
To Randy, which said emergency front office meeting to discuss tribute video, retiring number 23, building a statue, putting him in Saints HOF, naming the next firstborn after him, and all front office members growing goatee, bushy beards.
Yep. Yes.
Pretty good.
The St. Paul Saints run things, I think, like everybody wishes they could. They just, and nothing is better than when a team recognizes exactly what they are. And the St. Paul Saints do this better than anyone. They are the AAA affiliate, and they're going to have fun with anything and everything that they can. And they've always been that way. Even when they were an independent league, they were that way. It's just fun.
It's pretty good. Dave Schwartz is with us. Now, this is the first move. We know there's more coming for the Twins. The Chris Paddock experiment went fine. Paddock was fine. You can see why the Tigers would be like, yep, we need a 5th starter. He fits the bill. When you look at this squad, I guess, what are you keeping your eye on? What would surprise you if the Twins moved someone over the next couple of days?
Honestly, what would surprise me most is if somehow Byron Buxton gets moved, because I still think that even though he probably draws the most interest, that's just the contract isn't great. And
the no trade clause, he would have to agree.
Yeah, he would have to waive that, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if anything surprises me at this point with the Twins. I mean, it's just like we talked about last week, it's just such a tough situation that they're in, where they are clearly sellers at this point. But in order to make big moves, we went through all the different contract scenarios, who's team owned through the end of this year, through the end of next year. But all of that doesn't really carry a whole lot of weight if you don't have ownership, or you don't have clear ownership as to what you're going to do. And so it's a really weird time in the Twins era of how are they going to deal? Who are they going to deal? Some of the ones that make the most sense are pitching, but this team desperately always has needed pitching for so long. It seems like it would be counterproductive, at least from my thinking, to start dealing pitchers at this point. Obviously, Paddock is one of them, but I don't know. I think at this point, when I was reading a little bit today, it doesn't seem like they're going to do a whole lot, but I feel like that's always the mantra.
Right.
I was reading a quote where, Fowler was like, well, we're going to kind of do what we always do. And I heard every single Twins fan go, oh, gosh, slap themselves in the forehead, because that seems to be always what happens. So I guess I don't know what would surprise me at this point. And the Buxton, if he waives his no trade and all of a sudden, some monster deal comes in, it would be shocking. But I think other than that, I mean, everything's kind of on the table at this point and not at the same time.
Let's what the heck? Let's take the temperature of the Twins. This will be fun.
Let's take the current temp of your Minnesota Twins. Brought to you by Chef IQ Sense. Get your wireless meat thermometer now at chefiq.com.
Well, the Twins play the Red Sox tonight. They're going to try to get this game in before the weather starts coming through. Pregame is at 6. First pitch at 6:40 at Target Field. And right now it'll be a hot night at the ballpark. Why not? Why not? Since we can't seem to beat the teams that are bad, like the Red Sox are 57-50. Maybe we'll beat them, right? This will be a classic Twins move. Let's heat up against some good teams and drive everyone crazy as you get right up on the deadline.
That's kind of always the way the Twins do it. Actually, I feel like that's always the way the Twins and the Vikings do. Like, just when you think that this team that they're going to play is going to blow them out of the water, they end up coming back and winning. But they've really tripped. I mean, the Twins have tripped up a lot. I mean, you come out of the All-Star break, you go into the All-Star break where they are, and then they come out, and it's just, you don't really know what this team's going to be.
Yeah.
And they just literally fall flat on their face. If they could ever scream, we are not a contender this year, I mean, they've kind of done that through the first 2 series of the second half. And so, now you got a Red Sox team that's pretty dang good, at least a little better than the Twins.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, who knows when you have a deal like this? All of a sudden, you trade someone out of the clubhouse on a day that that does affect guys. And how does that affect them when you have a trade like this that comes through on a game day? That now you don't know if that guy next to you is going to be there tomorrow or not. So everything kind of it changes. You've heard a lot where they talk about shaking things up. Anytime guys that matter are traded, it shakes things up a bit. So it'll be interesting to see which Twins team comes out tonight.
Twins are 3-7 in their last 10. It's been a while since they've won a series. Let's break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Lynx. We'll talk about the Vikings. AI has a prediction on how the Vikings will do this year. We'll talk about that with Dave in just a minute.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSH on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Advantage Seamless Gutters is now Advantage Home Pros. New look, same pros. Still locally owned and now taking care of all your gutter and roofing needs. Don't spend your weekends on a ladder cleaning your gutters when you could be spending time with family and planning that summer trip. Trust your local gutter pros, Advantage Home Pros. Now your local custom roofing pros. With the highest quality workmanship and materials, our trained, knowledgeable local pros can handle it all. Trust the pros. AdvantageHomePros.com. Hey, sports fans, Postman Law delivers. We've recovered over $3 billion for injured clients. From fender benders to major accidents, our team tackles the tough stuff, letting you focus on recovery. Dial 844-POSTMAN now. Postman delivers speed, ease, and results. Offices, Minneapolis.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
God, I'm so stressed. It's a brand new year and our business is busier than ever. Ooma. What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 35 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
Every week on the Moth Podcast, we share stories that are funny, strange, heartbreaking, and above all, true.
I myself have been married for 56 years. Unfortunately, to 4 different women.
It turns out the people I was looking for all my life is what you people would call nerds.
Follow and listen to The Moth on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Things are slow for North 169, Bren Road, heading up to Highway 55, 394 westbound jammed up as make way over 94 heading out to Penn Avenue. 694 eastbound, some slowing there as make way between 252 and Central. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Choose Herbert and Gerbert's when you want fresh ingredients for a perfect sandwich like the Italian Flash or the Turkey Avocado Norma. Funky names are full of flavor. And don't forget our hearty soups and chili. Stop by or order ahead online. HerbertandGerberts.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
All right, the forecast is brought to you by Herbert and Gerbert's fresh ingredients on sandwiches, and you may forget the soup because it's 89 degrees. Who's having soup? Crazy. Tonight, low of 70. Be alert and keep it on CCO tonight. Got heavy rain, strong winds in the forecast. It could get nasty out there. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, isolated showers, high of 83. And then Wednesday through the weekend, the humidity gets turned down. 89, sunny and hot at Target Field on CCO.
Broadcasting from the Flatibo Land Studios, this is News Talk 830 WCCO. If you're looking to buy or sell farmland, you need Flatibo Land. For the latest auctions, listings, appraisals, and consulting, visit flatiboland.com.
And the Jay-Z song was on. And the Jay-Z song was on. So I put my hands up to play.
Dave, I got to see Soul Asylum this weekend in concert.
Where?
They were at Treasure Island at like an outdoor. They had this music fest this weekend at Treasure Island.
Oh, cool.
It was pretty cool. I got to tell you, like Dave Perner, the whole deal, it was a heck of a show. It was pretty fun.
I liked Soul Asylum quite a bit. I'm trying to think, is that late 90s, early 2000s was their heyday?
Yeah, that was probably the heyday. I mean, Runaway Train was probably their biggest their biggest song, and that was 93. So
93.
Yeah, for me, like I graduated high school. I graduated high school in 93. So that it was just kind of that alternative grungy era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in now all the concerts that I like are going to like the outer venues, like all the guys, they're at the they're at the Twins game, they're at the Saints. Not that those places aren't great places to see your favorite people, but it's just they're
it
not
just is what it is. Yeah. I saw this weekend Tone Loc on Sunday is going to be a free concert in Rochester. I'm like, maybe I should drive down to Rochester for a little funky cold Medina.
I'll come with you.
Right?
I will come with you.
I mean, that sounds
I'm game.
That sounds pretty fun. Vikings camp underway. AI has predicted the Vikings will go 7-10. I think that's I guess it's all about our quarterback. We don't really know.
7-10 after a season they had last year seems a little low to me.
This is Gemini. This is a Google Gemini made this prediction. They're not a believer. They're not a believer.
I mean, without going through the schedule game by game, that seems low to me for a team. Granted, the way the season ended, I mean, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. But this is still a team last year that won 13, 14 games. I mean, I don't know that you take away half of those wins just by losing losing your quarterback that got you there, especially when what you get in JJ McCarthy, which by all accounts out of training camp is that he looks great. But it's training camp. We all do.
So everybody looks great in training camp, right?
Yeah, they do.
10. I think 10-7 makes more sense, but and if he's good enough, he doesn't need to be great. If he's good enough, I don't know. They could win 13 games again, 14 games.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that the little bit of the X factor on offense here for me is what's going to happen with these first couple games of Jordan Addison. If he's not available because of suspension, you lose. I mean, it's going to be Jalen Naylor who's going to step up. But now all of a sudden, rather than worrying about two guys who could legitimately probably be number ones on most teams, if Addison is out, but they start with the Bears, so that's not exactly the roughest schedule out of the gate. But that'll be interesting to see if Naylor can, kind of step up there and really be that guy and where JJ's at as well.
The Lynx lost officially now at home.
Yeah.
Because they lost in the headline in the Star Tribune, Atlanta Dream hand the Lynx their first home loss of the regular season. Yeah. Now, you may remember the Commissioner's Cup title game.
Yes.
Which they also lost at home.
Yes.
Doesn't count. What's going on in the WNBA? Come on.
Well, the NBA does it too. I mean, it's these middle in-season tournaments.
I love the tournaments. I do. They're fun.
See, I don't.
It's fun.
Is it though? I mean,
yeah, it's like an event.
We
need an event. We're all so short attention span, you know.
I just don't think that the players in any of these leagues actually care to truly win it because there's just a bigger prize during the regular season.
They like money.
Yeah.
They like money.
Yeah, but how much is it?
I mean, for WNBA players, it's a lot.
Well, that's probably true,
Yeah.
as we've discussed.
All right, Twins game. They're gonna win. I'm calling it. Thanks, Dave.
Imagine placing an investment or trade with